everyone. Happy Monday. It's 7 o'clock in St. Louis. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. We're on 101 ESPN. Brooke Grimsley is here. Matthew Rocchio is here. I'm Randy Carricker. And if you'd like to watch, you can find us on the Air Alliance Team Studio Cam, brought to you, of course, by Air Alliance Services. All you need to do is go to youtube.com and type in 101 ESPN STL, and you can join us today. Brooke, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, Randy. Happy Monday. Happy gloomy Monday. Do we need a second alert weather report?
I think we do. Let's prepare this.
Is it safe enough for the chopper to go up?
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt. You want to start with traffic? We can traffic and weather together on the zeros here on 101 ESPN. Get the elevator, the helicopter up in the air? We don't get the elevator.
We don't have an elevator. The elevator's still not working.
Yep. I'll tell you what. You go in eastbound Olive, you can go 80 miles an hour if you want right now, because there's nothing on the road. Okay, don't do that. But there is no traffic. Eastbound Olive in Creve Coeur, right in front of Plaza Jaguar. Westbound is empty now too, so you got clear sailing, as they say in the jet copter, on Olive Boulevard in Creve Coeur. Yes, sir.
Can I get an obligatory check on there being traffic outside of at Brentwood at 40 for no reason?
Yeah, Brentwood and 40. You got a backup. It's not a sunshine backup. It might be a little rubberneck situation there. And then you've got traffic on 270. So wherever you are, 270, north, south, east, west, traffic on 270. So just enjoy the radio show. I'm Captain Randy Carricker from 101 ESPN Jet Copter 2.
You see, why were we not invited to Weather Day at the ballpark when they had that?
We're the experts.
Is it because we're second, so it kind of takes us a little bit to get there, and then it takes us a minute to figure it out.
We probably go in August when they're out of the race.
We're like, oh, wait, we missed this? Whoopsies.
Yeah. By the way, sunshine will peek through the clouds at 6 o'clock later this evening. High of 75 in St. Louis. That'll come your way at 4 o'clock. So if you're going to go out, maybe take a walk or a ride in the park, your temperature is going to be good. It's just going to be cloudy, so you'll be fine.
It will be. It's been rainy and cloudy all weekend. Randy, how was your weekend?
Weekend was good. A lot of sports, a lot of fun stuff. The Cardinals taking 2 of 3. That made me very happy.
Oh, yes.
You know, here's one thing, Brooke. Generally, unless you're playing like in the 1993 National League West, generally you win 2 out of 3 and you're going to win your division. With 2 out of every 3, you're going to be in great shape.
I would just like to see a series sweep, and I thought we were about to get that yesterday. It just came up a little bit short. So we got a text early this morning, right before the show started, Randy. Okay. Please don't make all the Cardinal talk roses and bunnies. They still can't hit. 1 for 12 with the runners in scoring position yesterday. 5 starters batting under 208. Still in last place. Still lowest batting average in the National League. Still second to last in on-base percentage, OPS, and slugging in the National League. I got to scrap everything I was going to talk about today because I thought the offense was stellar, Randy.
Well, here's what I thought. We're together. Whoever said roses and bunnies?
Roses and bunnies.
Don't roses have thorns?
But they're beautiful, Randy.
They are.
But is this the Cardinals team? Wait, is there something deeper here? Is this the Cardinals team where on the outside maybe the rose is the bullpen pitching because even their starting pitching gives you a chance more times than not, and the thorns are the offense that you have to deal with?
I was once told by a poet in the 80s that every rose has a thorn.
Every rose has its thorn. So, yes, to build upon your thought process and that of our texter, which we greatly appreciate. You can feel free to text us 314-399-9646, 314-399. Yo-ho! Brooke, the offense is scuffling a little bit, but would you rather have a team that wins 2 out of every 3 games they play and has a bad offense, or has a team that has a great offense and doesn't win?
Ooh.
Because this team is coming tra-la, tra-la.
That makes a lot more sense there, Randy. I think we're getting to the beautiful part of this rose, maybe.
Now, here's another thing. Roses and bunnies. Not only do roses have their thorn, but I just get tired of, and we've mentioned this on the show before, I get tired of bunnies that are sleeping on the job while they're on the street. They're just, they're supposed to be working and they're sleeping on the street. I don't like that bunnies do that. I think they should find a nice little nest to sleep in, maybe in some grass or something.
Oh, just not in our backyard because Stevie likes bunnies a little too much, and that was disturbing last year because they like to nest. Well, this is a little too early.
Did you just call all animals homeless?
Some are.
Jesus, that's harsh.
Yeah.
They're just out there trying to live their lives, Randy.
Okay,
Don't judge their choices.
let's do a text here. Text line. Is a barn cat homeless? Is a cat that lives in a barn that is uninvited? Is it a squatter?
Ooh.
A homeless squatter?
I feel like cats are so great at adapting to their whatever environment, though, that they can never truly be homeless. With cats, you know that they don't really need you. I think
Right.
that's the one pet where they really make it clear that they don't really need you. Dogs, I feel like they need you. It's harder for them to make a home. With cats,
No doubt.
they know that they're good on their own, and they showcase that. They kind of flaunt that to their owners
They
sometimes.
really do. Okay, so here's what happened with the Cardinals. Alec Burleson on Friday night with a second inning 3-run homer, a 4-2 win for the Cardinals. Miles Michaelis went 5 2/3 innings of 2-run ball. Cardinals win the opener 4-2. Then on Saturday, the Cardinals gave us 60-cent drinks at Mobile on the Run yesterday with a 7-4 win. Those 60-cent drinks were available to you by the time we got to the fifth inning. 6 is a serious number. Sonny Gray, brilliant for 4, and then kind of got roughed up a little bit in the fifth, but was great for 6, and he gets the win. And then yesterday, I had our whole show plan. I don't know if you guys got the first email.
Yes.
I had the whole show plan made out with the Cardinals sweep. Donovan driving in the go-ahead run in the top of the 11th, but 2 out against Matthew Liberatore. Harrison Bader singled one home to tie it in the bottom of the inning, and then Mark Vientos.
Who's that? I don't even think the Mets knew who he was. He was only there because Starling Marte was on paternity leave,
Right,
basically.
yeah. Mark Vientos hit a 2-run game-winning homer, and the Mets win it by a score of 4-2. And you and I talked before the show, Brooke, about Liberatore being in there, and you think about the options for Ollie. And I always talk about Ollie using the eye test. I believe that he did yesterday. He could have gone to Nick Robertson or John King. Those were the 2 available relief pitchers that he had. And I'm sure, thought at that point, okay, Matthew Liberatore, 3 innings of work, is the best pitcher that I have for this particular spot. So I don't have a problem with Liberatore being in the game. It's one of those games that you're going to lose, and the Cardinals did.
And that's the thing, is that who else would you go to in the bullpen? Who else in that situation?
Well,
you also had your 3-headed monster going on back-to-back days.
Right.
Prior to that with JoJo Romero, Andrew Kittredge, and Ryan Helsley. So they did their part, and they're a huge part of the Cardinals being able to get 2 out of 3 in that series.
Yeah.
But you couldn't go to either one of those guys. So you knew that you were a little bit tight with your bullpen going into that game. And I think that it was the best situation that you could have had there.
Yeah, I'm with you. So I have no complaints about Ollie. I have no complaints about winning 2 out of 3, and the Cardinals will take on the Tigers now for a 3-game series at Comerica. Comerica Park. It's not a bank, right? It's our stadium, isn't it?
America, no, it's not a bank.
In fairness,
What's the name of the stadium?
The AL Central confuses me with all their stadiums. Guaranteed Rate Field, with
Yes.
the Sox. I mean, I think it's Comerica, yeah.
I think it's still Comerica.
Is it? Is it
Comerica
still?
Bank and
Oh,
Comerica
okay.
Field.
There you go.
I think so.
It's a bank. There we go.
Yeah,
You could
we
say
should-
it's one of those banks.
Still Comerica Park.
Yeah, my point was going to be that it should be Tiger Stadium. Tigers are 16-12, by the way, in 3rd place in the AL Central. They trail the Cleveland Guardians by 3 and the Royals by a half game. So they're going to be competitive for the Cardinals. Yesterday in D.C., you know the DC Defenders had never lost a home game until yesterday when the Battlehawks drilled them with the number 1 offense in the UFL. 45-12 was the final, and D.C. loses a home game. St. Louis had 3 interceptions, and really nobody had great numbers offensively. The Battlehawks just dominated.
They did. The Battlehawks. I still needed a little bit more coffee behind that one, Randy, but still, you have to like everything that the Battlehawks are doing right now. They're so exciting. It's just nice to have football a part of St. Louis again.
It is. And you're right. Everything they do. They're good defensively. They've got the best offense in the league. Their
Offense
special
is
teams,
finally picking up.
right. And the kicking game is really good. They do everything well there. And by the way, I'm glad the NFL is adopting the UFL's kickoff rule. It makes kickoff returns so much better. If you aren't going to risk people getting hurt and you aren't going to have the wedge and you aren't going to actually hit people, this is a decent way to have the kickoff return. So the UFL does that right. NBA playoffs, Knicks take a 3-1 lead on the Sixers with a 97-92 victory. It's been a wild series so far, and it continues. Knicks are moving on. Mavs fall to the Clippers 116-111. That series even at 2 apiece. Mavericks down by 31 at one point in that game. They come back, take a 4-point lead, but the Clippers are able to rebound and win it over the Mavs 116-111. The Pacers over the Bucks 126-113. The Bucks didn't have Giannis or Dame Lillard, and the Pacers are within a game of eliminating Milwaukee. That whole Doc Rivers' hiring looks great right now. And the T-Wolves eliminated the Suns 122-116. T-Wolves win at 4-0. And while the T-Wolves are a great story, and we'll talk about them as they go along, a lot of smoke this morning that after 1 year, Frank Vogel will be fired as the Suns head coach.
I was going to say, how do the Suns fans feel right now? You're shocked. Oh. You're shocked, Rocc.
Yeah.
I can't believe that.
They're screwed.
Frank Vogel failed to figure out how to coach a bunch of talented teams and actually win games past a certain round.
Yep.
Shocking.
Well, here's the other thing. And we all like owners that spend a lot of money and say, I'm going for it, I'm going for it, I'm going for it. Well, the new owner of the Suns, when he got there, the first thing he did was talked to the owner of the Nets and traded a couple of really good players in Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges for Kevin Durant. And that's a bad trade for the Suns. And it's going to haunt them for a while. Brooklyn has a chance actually to be good for a while. And Kevin Durant is pretty much done in terms of playing a full season and then playing in the postseason. The Bradley Beal trade didn't make an awful lot of sense. They still have Devin Booker, but they don't have the guy. And I think the things are going to get worse before they get better for the Suns, who are eliminated by the T-Wolves. NHL playoffs. Avalanche lead the Jets 3-1 after a 5-1 win last night. Boy, was that game fun, the previous game where they had all the fights. This is hockey.
Although if you ask Josh Morrissey, not so much fun.
No.
So a lot of blood on the ice scared him, kind of.
Right. Canucks over the Predators in OT. 4-3, so the Canucks lead that series 3-1. The Rangers over the Caps, 4-2. Rangers advance with a 4-0 victory in that series. And the Oilers knocked off the Kings, an atypical Edmonton performance. They win by a score of 1-0, and Edmonton leads that series 3-1. So
there you go.
There you have it. We're off and running here on the opening drive on 101 ESPN. Brooke and Randy. Coming up, we've got 3 things we loved about the weekend here on 101 ESPN.
St. Louis is proud to be a baseball town and more recently a soccer town. On Friday, May 3rd, the Birds on the Bat host the Chicago White Sox. And that night, 25,000 fans 16 and older will take home a Cardinals soccer jersey presented by Purina. That's Friday, May 3rd, the Cardinals, the White Sox, and the exclusive soccer jersey giveaway. For tickets or more info, visit cardinals.com/promotion.
This is Giovanni Gallegos. Get your tickets at cardinals.com.
Calling all bobblehead collectors and animal lovers. This is one you won't want to miss. Join us at the ballpark on Saturday, May 4th, when the Cardinals host the Chicago White Sox and the 19th annual Purina Pooches in the ballpark. That day, 25,000 fans ages 16 and older will receive a bobblehead of Adam Wainwright with his lovable retirement gift, his new pup Louie, courtesy of Purina. For full details, visit cardinals.com/promotions.
This is Adam Wainwright, St. Louis Cardinals for the Lou.
One thing I try to do on a regular basis is relax and enhance my physical well-being. And I can do that by going and getting a massage at Massage Envy. They have the best massage therapists in St. Louis, and they are going to enhance your physical well-being, and they are going to help you relax. And with Mother's Day coming up, what do you get the person who gives the most? Flowers, they're sweet, but you know what she'd really like? She'd like some well-deserved me time. ME time, Massage Envy time, to enjoy a relaxing massage, a customized facial, or a total body stretch. It's a thoughtful gift that encourages mom to put herself first for a change. Visit your nearest Massage Envy franchise location now through May 12th for gift cards and a special Mother's Day offer. That's right, you can take care of your mom with the easiest gift that you'll ever give her, me time, Massage Envy time at Massage Envy. The gift card valid at participating locations while supplies last. Massage Envy, where better begins.
101 ESPN has your chance to win free tickets to Styx and Foreigner with special guest John Waite on June 18th at Hollywood Casino Amphitheater. Tickets for Styx and Foreigner are on sale now. Get all the ticket details and get entered to win those free tickets for the show right now, either at 101ESPN.com or on your 101 mobile app.
All right, three things we loved about the weekend here on a Monday on the opening drive. Brooke, what do you got for us?
Number 3.
My number 3 is we are finally done with the renovations at our house, and so we got to move back in. Randy, you guys know, in this room, this was a project that was supposed to last maybe a month. And I was at David's in-laws for 3 months. And it's a good test of everybody's patience right before the wedding. So I am so happy to be back at our house. Everybody's happy. It was a great experience. Very thankful that they allowed us to stay in their home for that long. But I am so glad to be back at our house.
Now, I know that Stevie Nicks had made a great adjustment to the in-laws' house, but how did Stevie Nicks react going home?
She was very confused at first. Yeah, because it was the bathroom that we redid, the main bathroom. And so we took her upstairs to show her, and she was just perplexed as to what was going on, because she was like, none of this is what I remember. What is going on here? But then she adjusted pretty quickly when she got to go back to her little couch, and she was very excited last night.
Good. Brooke, one of the things that happens when, and you will learn this, so will Matthew, but when your kids get older, you don't get to see them as much. So yesterday afternoon, my son Patrick has a grill that he needed help putting together, and I was more than happy to go over to his house and set up the grill, and did some other odd jobs, hung up some pictures and stuff. So we hung out with him, and then I was going to go hit golf balls later in the afternoon, and my daughter Katie says, I'll go. So I went and hit the golf balls with my daughter. So it was great to have kid time yesterday with Dad, with both Patrick and Katie. It was one of my favorite things about the weekend.
That's great, Randy.
Yeah.
I like how Patrick put you to work a little bit there too.
Over there on Saturday, I said, hey, if there's anything you need done, I'm here to help you. And he said, yeah, can you help put this grill together tomorrow? And I said, yeah, absolutely. So nice Weber propane grill. He's got it going. So, and now it's easy for me to buy gifts for him. I already talked to him about the Weber iGrill, which is a game changer if you are somebody who uses your grill.
There you go.
Number 2.
Number 2 for me is going to be that this year's draft consisted of 6 selections out of Mizzou, 2 also from the St. Louis area, and one of the biggest stars from last year's Mizzou football team. I know that a lot of people were hoping to see him get drafted, but either way, if you are familiar with Cody Schrader's story, you know that when the odds are stacked against him, he will always find a way. So I love that he's still getting an opportunity. He signed in as a non-drafted free agent with the 49ers, so a lot of representation from Mizzou and from the St. Louis area, again, in this year's NFL draft.
Yeah, you win with good players, and the NFL doesn't generally, unless it's the Rams, draft bad players, the St. Louis Rams. So the NFL teams, they recognize Mizzou as being pretty good. So it's great to have 6 players drafted in the NFL. And along those lines, it's always good to see a local player getting an opportunity, and Cody Schrader is one. Another guy, Ezekiel Elliott, back with the Cowboys this morning. He is re-signed with Dallas, the John Burrow's product, who was for a couple of years the best running back in the NFL. And it's good to see Zeke get away from New England. And I mean, going from New England to Dallas is nothing great, but at least he's away from New England. And he's in the NFL, so good for Zeke.
I like that he's back with Dallas. I think that him and Dak had a great relationship as well. So we'll see how this goes for him. Has to go better than it did in New England.
I would think so, yeah.
Mizzou got 7 draft picks. Can you imagine being a legacy football program and having 0 this year compared to that?
Who would that be?
Must suck to be the Cornhuskers.
Oh.
And by the way, we're going to talk about this coming up, but the Illini had 4 also, so good for them.
Number 1.
Number 1 for me is, Randy, when we were moving back into our house this weekend, we actually were able to get away for one night, and that was Saturday night, and it was to see the Nikki Glazer over at the Fox Theater, and she is amazing. I was literally crying laughing at her. Shout out to Chris Convey for getting me tickets. His brother Tim, of course, with the Courtney Show over there. He opened for Nikki, and Tim was hilarious as well. Nikki Glazer is so funny, and so I don't want to give away too much from her set because obviously she's going on tour. But I will say that she is going to be a part of Tom Brady's roast on Netflix, which will be live May 5th. It's going to be live on Netflix. And she got to test out some of her jokes to the audience. And it is going to be so good. So everybody has to check that out. I actually have been a big fan of Nikki Glaser for a long time. And so the fact that she actually comes by the station and is part of the Courtney show, not to pump up our competition a little bit too much over there, Randy, but two different shows. We're sports over here.
It's not really competition.
But Nikki Glaser, she's so funny. Randy, I was literally crying. And I love when she's a part of the roast. So I'm excited to see the Tom Brady one because the jokes were absolutely hilarious. Did you ever see hers with Alec Baldwin? Was one of my favorite. That roast. Also, she did Peyton Manning. So now this Tom Brady one, I think it's going to be just based off of how some of the jokes she put out there. I think it's going to be her best work yet.
I'm having trouble getting past the idea that Chris Convey did something nice for somebody.
Why?
He's
so nice.
He's kind of a jerk.
Is he?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I think he's nice.
I hate him. I
think
it's
you like
the
him,
umbrella
Randy.
that he roped in his significant other to do something for him like this. It's just a classic Chris Convey.
Yeah.
It was so nice of him to do that.
I roll at Chris Convey. Brooke, my number one, and I know that you guys knew this right when it happened in the fifth inning on Saturday. 60-cent drinks for everybody in St. Louis at Mobile on the Run yesterday. It's only happened 4 times this year. All right, your Cardinals have played 28 games, and only 4 times have they scored 6 or more runs. So when they plated that 6th run in the 5th inning on Saturday, I was such a happy camper for everybody in St. Louis. And then I go in yesterday and said, yeah, people really haven't noticed. So come on, people, let's pick it up here. When the Cardinals, okay, it might be a month or so, but when they score 6 again, well, let's take advantage of the great deal that you get at Mobile on the Run.
I think that's the issue, Randy, is that it doesn't happen frequently enough for people to remember that they do get to take advantage of that.
Yeah, it used to be back in the day, I think it was like the maybe it wasn't the 04 season because I think it was 5 for 50 then. 5 runs for 50 cents. Now it's 6 for 60. I don't know. I don't remember when 6 became such a serious number. But there was a time where like half the time the Cardinals were scoring 6 runs a game. It was ridiculous. That was when they had a really good lineup. And today, I mean, no roses and bunnies, but at least they scored 7.
That's it. That's my new favorite saying now is roses and bunnies.
We need a song about roses and bunnies.
What kind of person would? I mean, to think that we would come on this air and talk about roses and bunnies is insulting. Frankly,
it's just not us.
It's insulting.
No. Sunshine and lollipops, but never roses and bunnies.
Yeah, sunshine and lollipops makes sense. Roses and bunnies is nonsensical. What are we doing here?
Because I guess both of them are cute. Is that? I guess you could say roses
both of them
are
will
cute.
get you though. Thorns and little teeth.
And little teeth. I don't think I've ever been bit by a bunny. You've been bit by a bunny before?
Yes.
Really?
And how was it?
I had a friend who had a pet bunny, and it nipped at you a little bit. Not like painful, but it nipped at you a little bit.
Is this why you don't like animals?
Oh man, oh no, the segment. So coming up next, we got Take It or Leave It coming up at 7:45.
We're getting to the root of the problem here, Randy.
Yep.
We are.
We do have a text, Randy. Over under on Cardinals 60-cent drinks this year. The over under. He says 30. He or she says 30. Let's go 29.5. So 29
So
and
you're
a half.
taking the under?
I think I'm going to take the under. Yeah. So we're 4 for 28 so far. I think I'm going to go under all the way because I don't think this offense, it might get better. They might score 4, they might score 5, but I don't think they're going to score 6 more than 29 times.
Well, the situational hitting and carrying over from last season is a little bit concerning because that's not something new that just popped up. They were 1 for 12 with runners in scoring position, as that texter pointed out earlier. But maybe I'll go bunnies and roses here, Randy.
Oh.
And I'll go the over, but just slightly over.
Okay. By the way, wasn't there a point in yesterday's game where the two teams together were something like 0 for 22? The Mets were 1 for 16. The Cardinals were 1 for 12. So they went 2 for 38 yesterday, the two teams with runners in scoring position.
Also, former Cardinal, we talked about Harrison Bader, but former Cardinal Jose Quintana with his best outing by a Mets starting pitcher this season. I mean, he had the best outing by a Mets starting pitcher this season.
Brooke, did you know that Jose Quintana can go more than 5 1/3?
What? Mm-hmm. I didn't think, just based off of things that I saw in the past, I didn't think that was allowed, Randy.
I didn't either. I had no
I
idea.
thought that was against the rules.
Randy, you want to take a wild jab at how many times 6 was a serious number last year?
How many?
Wild jab. Oh, man. You know who else did this as OJ?
For the 2023 St. Louis Cardinals.
Randy.
The late OJ.
Oh, man.
Sorry, R.I.P.
That's not what I was correcting you on.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 22.
It was 54.
54.
Really?
Wow.
But remember how bad the starting pitching was last
insane.
year. I think that had a lot to do with it.
Yeah. Right.
So are you going to go roses and buddies now and take the over on 30?
No, I'm still gonna go under.
Is it because they're bottom in the league in just about every important category offensively?
That's it. Coming up next, the NFL draft continued on Friday night and Saturday. Our big takeaways from the NFL draft next on 101 ESPN. I am a customer of and a big fan of Chesterfield Fence and Deck. And if you're in the market for a fence or a deck, maybe you want to have a sunroom or a screen room installed, get in touch with my friends at Chesterfield Fence and Deck at chesterfieldfence.com or give them a call at 800-300-4054. And they'll provide you a free in-home estimate at no obligation. They'll provide a free project design, and they'll take all the measurements you need taken. They'll show you their product offerings, and they also have a great photo gallery of completed projects. So if there's something that you want done and you don't know exactly what you want, they've done pretty much everything in their 56 years in St. Louis, and they'll show you what they've done. And maybe you'll get some ideas about what you don't know about, but what you do like. The folks at Chesterfield Fence and Deck are A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. Everything they do has a 5-year labor warranty, and they have comprehensive material warranties as well, and they have the best exclusive warranties in the industry. They've been fantastic over the years for people here in St. Louis, and they'll be great for you. Mention Randy and get 20% off your next installed outdoor project with Chesterfield Fence and Deck at chesterfieldfence.com. Call 800-300-4054. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best.
This is Rocky with your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals take 2 of 3 from the Mets over the weekend, but they do fall in extra innings on Sunday 4-2 to fail in the sweep. Starting today, the Cardinals will start a 3-game series against the Tigers. It's a 5:40 first pitch in Detroit for the Redbirds. It'll be the lefty Steven Matz facing off against the righty for the Tigers, Kenta Maeda. Also over the weekend, it was big games for the St. Louis Battlehawks as they win big over the DC Defenders 45-12 as they hand the Defenders their first loss in the capital, and in the NBA playoffs, we have a big win for the Timberwolves, 122-116 over the Suns as they sweep that series. The Knicks and the Pacers are each up 3-1 in their series after big wins, and the Mavericks and the Clippers is tied in the West 2-2 after a Clippers 116-111 win over the Mavericks. That is your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
The NFL completed their draft on Saturday, and there were a lot of interesting aspects to the draft, one of them being the longest gap between quarterback picks in history. Of course, 6 quarterbacks were taken in the first 12 picks, and then the league waited and waited and waited, and finally South Carolina's Spencer Rattler went in the 5th round to New Orleans, 138 picks after the Broncos took Bo Nix. Before this year, the record for consecutive picks between quarterbacks had been in 1972 with 126 picks between the Falcons' Pat Sullivan at number 40 and the Bears' Jim Fossil at number 167, and that record now is officially broken. By the way, Brooke, it was interesting that the whole league took 138 picks between quarterbacks because back in 2012, the then Washington Redskins took RG3 at number 2 and then Kirk Cousins at 102. So they took quarterbacks in a closer proximity just by themselves than the whole league did this year.
It's really hard to figure out why that was. And now, obviously, it was a great time to be a quarterback if you were taken in the first round, but Spencer Rattler was a whole different scenario there. Now, I found this interesting because Adam Schefter, of course, was a part of the NFL draft coverage, and he had a reason as to why Spencer Rattler was so devalued, I guess, in this year's draft.
Richard, that is some of the issue. The ceiling for Spencer Rattler, teams really wondered, can this guy be a long-time or even short-time starter? Is he going to be a career backup? I want to go through some of the teams that did work and visited with him who might have a needed backup quarterback. Texans, Seahawks, Colts, of course, have Flacco. Giants did not end up taking a quarterback. The Raiders, of course, did not. The Packers as well. But I want to mention something in addition to this. And this is kind of weird to say, honestly. Spencer Rattler did a reality show in high school. It's called QB1 Beyond the Lights. It did not make him look great. And it is unbelievable how many different teams mentioned to me the image of him in that show and how they can't get it out of their heads, which I think would be a public service announcement to all 17-year-olds. But it is fascinating as teams weigh whether or not to draft him.
That was Ian Rappaport, by the way, NFL
Ian
Network.
Rappaport.
That's okay.
Yes.
it is kind of weird to say, and it's kind of weird for an NFL team to think that, to define a person based upon a television show when they're 17 years old, because we watch reality TV and nobody is, people change when they're on TV, when they're on a reality show, and people change from the time they're 17 to they're 21 or they're 21 till they're 25. Brooke, if the NFL teams only judged players on what they were when they were 17, Chris Carter never would have had an NFL career.
That is so true. It's really just interesting because at what point is the cutoff point when it comes to how you evaluate some of these players? How much you look on to off the field issues? Because to me, if it's a show, right? Yeah. It's a show, and he was in high school. Now, what exactly was he doing on that show? It just apparently that he came off very childish is what a lot of people were saying. Which he was a child, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think everybody was exactly an angel in high school, and that they had it all together. Not everybody was exactly perfect in high school is the best way to put it, but apparently his demeanor was the issue there. How much do you buy that that's the reason why that he dropped so much in the NFL draft?
I could see NFL teams being that shallow.
Because of how much they take a deep dive into these players?
Right, but how ridiculous is it to think about? And let's add some perspective to this. TV show, 17, and who was the biggest star in high school? The highly recruited high school quarterback. Who's going to have a bigger ego than that?
Yeah. So we got a text from the 618, and this is something that I saw online as well, because honestly, I never even heard of this show when he was on it. I think I had heard of it, but I didn't realize that he was on the show in high school. And somebody said, watch the clip. He was I can't say what they said, but a butt to his teammates. And that was something that I heard over and over again, is that he was not a great guy to his teammates. But as you mentioned, in high school, are you surprised by that? Is that something that should be held against you all the way into the future of the NFL draft?
No, and I don't know how he was regarded by his teammates at Oklahoma or South Carolina. I think I'd be more inclined to believe the most recent thing. And by the way, the thing I'm going to believe most is what I see on tape from his playing. And he was a pretty good player at South Carolina and at Oklahoma. Matthew, you want to add in here?
I mean, it's the NFL. It's NFL GMs and front office people talking about a player before the draft. There's never stupider sentences and thought processes that come up than that. I mean, this is why teams fail so consistently with draft picks, is because they're rooted in an old school mindset that ignores actually what's in front of them. And this is the kind of mistakes you make when you're thinking like an idiot or not thinking at all. And that's exactly what goes on with GMs inside these draft rooms. They get way too into it, and it's because they're worried about their jobs, but they make these dumb mistakes and they extrapolate this. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Isn't it amazing, though, because in this situation with Spencer Rattler, so he's a part of the show. One, I'm sure every single high schooler from here on out is going to be like, don't sign me up for any show whatsoever, any reality TV show. But two, if the NFL really does that much digging into players, how do they make mistakes on some of the other guys?
Oh, great question.
If it matters so much in Spencer Rattler, and I don't know him personally, but I'm just saying, if his appearance on that high school show mattered so much, how do they get it wrong and somehow miss some of these other big things that come to the surface with other guys?
Great question. Great question. The 6 Mizzou players that were drafted, Darius Robinson, of course, you knew that because we mentioned it on Friday. The defensive tackle from Mizzou went to Arizona in the first round. In the second round, cornerback Ennis Rakestraw went to Detroit. The Packers took linebacker Tyron Hopper in the third round. In the fourth round, Jacksonville took tackle Javon Foster. Linebacker Jalen Carles, who was a safety here, went to Indy in the fifth round. And also in the fifth round, Denver took the other cornerback from Mizzou, Chris Abrams-Drain. So a good job by Mizzou. And I'm never good at judging Missouri players because I think I always have an inherent bias towards them. I think all of those guys are capable of being good NFL players, though.
Yes, I'm excited to see what Cody Schrader does. I know that, of course, that he did not get drafted, but that was the whole point of Cody Schrader's story and how he became one of the best stories in college football last year, right? It's because that nobody expected him to do what he did. So hopefully this is a good situation. I think for a running back like him, that's a better situation than maybe some of the other teams that you could go to, and I hope that everything works out for him because he has such a great story. He's a great person. We've had him on the show before, and I'm excited to see what he does. Also, Harrison Mevis, He is going to the Panthers, I do believe.
Yeah.
Yes. And so the thicker kicker also moving on.
So great job there. And 4 Illinois players also went in the draft, and they actually went pretty high. The defensive tackle Newton, who was regarded by many as a first-rounder, went in the second round, and then they had a couple of third-rounders and a fourth-rounder. So congratulations to them. The Cowboys didn't take a running back, but they have signed Ezekiel Elliott, which is good for the St. Louisan. And a couple of other quick notes for you. There were more defensive backs taken than any other position, which you have 4 on the field at a time. 54 DBs taken and 30 offensive tackles taken. This is such a passing league. Shouldn't be a surprise to anybody that what we're going to do is try to defend the pass and try to protect the passer.
You see what the craziest stat about the offensive lineman, though, had to be coming out of the draft? The last time the Denver Broncos selected an offensive lineman in the draft was Garrett Bowles in 2017.
Wow.
They haven't taken a tackle.
Yeah.
It's like how do you just not take shots on athletic 6'9" guys who are really raw? How are you just not taking a shot on one of those every 6th or 7th round every single season?
Yeah, you should.
Can I circle back to the quarterback conversation just for 1 second here? Because do you think that what we're seeing, because the drop-off between the quarterbacks, is that more about the league's talent evaluators? They believe that there was just a massive drop-off between the top 6 quarterbacks and the rest of the class, or teams are really just devaluing development prospects? And what I'm saying is that we know they want the instant now. They want like a C.J. Stroud situation.
Yeah,
Do you feel like they want to do the wait and see and really develop quarterbacks now?
Yes, because they can. It used to be like when Sam Bradford came here. You almost had to play him right away because he had $50 million guaranteed and a $78 million contract. Now that contract is a budget. So you can sit a guy for a year with the salary cap and the rookie salary scale and still be able to pay the rest of your roster, which the 2010 Rams, they were kind of a mess anyway, but they couldn't do with Sam Bradford. But I do think the teams are more inclined to take a look at that budget guy. And there are a couple of situations, Denver being the most prominent one, where all they could afford was a drafted quarterback because of all the dead money they took when they released Russell Wilson. They couldn't do anything else. And I thought there was an interesting, for a veteran football writer like Pete Prisco, he was upset that the Broncos took Bo Nix at number 12. He said, why didn't they trade down and get more draft capital? Well, if they trade down to 14, the Raiders were going to take Bo Nix at 13. That's why. So come on, NFL. Well, come on, Pete Prisco, pay attention.
I think you got his attention there, Randy.
Yeah.
There you go.
And then I think another story that came out was that Sean Payton, when he was with the Saints, lost Mahomes by 1 pick because the Chiefs jumped him by 1 spot. And so I wonder if that's in the back of his head, like, yeah, I'm not going to risk it. I just got to go get my quarterback this time.
From the 618, Atlanta is definitely on that quarterback development plan. And we've seen it work. We've seen it work before. I'm just saying, don't you think the NFL, too, also, we've seen it time and time again still every single year where they expect their rookie quarterback to go out there and somehow be a starter right out of college and ready to go.
And that's kind of unfair, don't you think?
I think it is.
By the way, it was interesting listening to Dan Graziano this morning on Sportsmanlike, just railing against the Falcons. I think what we need to do is write down who the Falcons should have taken at that point and then compare the success of the player the Falcon he thinks the Falcons should have taken that would help them make the playoffs in 2024 as opposed to taking Michael Penix. Right?
Do you think that it was his argument was with Kirk Cousins? So you signed him to, 4 years? How big was the contract again?
$100 million guaranteed, 180, I think, overall.
Could you have signed him for less if you knew that was part of the plan?
No, because there were other bidders for him.
Yeah.
And the reason that you gave him the money is because you think you're going to be good. You don't think you're going to be drafting in the top 10. You think you're going to be in the 20s with Kirk Cousins as your quarterback. And with that being the case, you're going to have an opportunity to get somebody like Michael Penix.
And I don't have an issue with it. I think it makes a lot of sense, and I think it's something that actually would work out. It benefits rookie quarterbacks, but my one qualm with it would be that it didn't seem like everybody was on the same page, and the fact that you had Cousins' agent coming out and saying that he didn't know about it, that's an issue in itself.
Yeah, but
they'll get over it, though.
Yeah, they will. I think ultimately, if the Falcons are smart, and Terry Fontenot seems like a smart guy, heck, if you don't have Kirk Cousins come back from that Achilles injury by the beginning of the season, wouldn't you rather have Michael Penix than whatever else you have on the roster?
True, but I do want to say on Terry Fontenot, they didn't get a defensive back in this draft.
So
They said it was one of the things they were looking for, and they said they couldn't find the right value. And as you said, it was the most drafted position in the entire draft.
yeah.
Seems a
well,
little
they couldn't
crazy
find
to me.
value, though.
I guess so.
So, and congratulations to Mr. Irrelevant. The Jets could find value at a defensive back. They took Jalen Key with the 257th pick, a defensive back from Alabama. So they found value. The Jets did. And so Mr. Irrelevant goes to the Jets. Jalen Key, remember the name. He's he's the Brock Purdy of DBs.
Brock Purdy of DBs.
Yeah. So there you have your look at the NFL draft. Coming up, we've got Take It or Leave It. Get your text into the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646, 314-399-YO-HO. Tioli coming your way on 101 ESPN.
you by Gloria Lou Realty. Visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com and start packing.
That's my final offer. Take it or leave it.
All right, Brooke, Matthew, Randy with you. I've got a double tioli for you. Is that okay? Can I do two?
Sure.
Take
Go
it or
ahead.
leave it. You two are surprised that Travis and Taylor are still together.
Oh, why would I be surprised, Randy? It's true love.
It's been since last, October, November, September's?
I know, Randy, she's currently making money off of her last breakup.
I don't think she needs to worry about how much money she's making.
Just saying.
Okay. Good. Well, here's the thing. So those two showed up at the Mahomes charity auction in Vegas on Saturday night, and the auctioneer convinced Taylor Swift to offer 4 tickets to an Eras Tour concert when she returns to tour in the fall. And she said, sure, I'll give 4 tickets to a concert. And it drew $80,000. So $20,000 a ticket.
$80,000?
For Patrick Mahomes' charity event in Vegas. Take it or leave it. You're surprised it wasn't more.
I'm going to have to, I guess, take it. I guess if she's there, you're trying to show off even more. I wonder how much tickets to her concerts last. Also, a little behind the scenes. We're going to break the fourth wall here just for a second because Randy somehow is blasting our YouTube show in the background, and Rocchio's trying to figure it out.
Oh, yeah.
You could hear us in the background.
You can hear us? I'll just close it up. Oh,
there we go.
No,
there you go.
I had no idea. I couldn't hear it.
Maybe I'm going to have to leave it because that seems extremely expensive even for Taylor Swift.
I would have thought that it would have gone for at least 100.
At least
4
100?
tickets, yeah.
What all do you get with that again?
4 tickets to a Taylor Swift concert.
Do you get to hang out with her or VIP access?
You're in the same area right now.
Wow.
You're there.
That's a lot of money.
She and Travis were there together, holding hands and going to their table and hanging out with Patrick Mahomes and everybody. So she was already there.
I need to know what that person does for a living. That's what I need to know because that is just an insane amount of money to just be like, yeah, I'm going to go throw that around.
Yeah, pretty impressive. And it was spur of the moment because the auctioneer asked her, said, hey, can I get 4 tickets to a concert? And she said, yeah. So it wasn't like something that was planned that was in the book either. So it had to be a spur of the moment.
Yeah, ready to drop $80,000.
Yeah.
Sorry, honey, we can't get the second house or the third. Or it'd probably be fourth for somebody who's spending that kind of money, just dropping that cash.
Yeah, maybe 5th.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Take it or leave it, Randy. According to Jeff Passan, Major League Baseball is making changes to the new uniforms after weeks of complaints from players and fans. Shocking, I know. It feels like more than weeks. I think we've been all worried about this for a while now.
First day of spring training.
The changes include larger lettering on the back of the jerseys. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We needed that. But those changes won't come until 2025. Take it or leave it. Because Fanatics is involved, those new uniforms won't arrive until 2026.
Absolutely take it, yes. They can order them now, but don't plan on them showing up on time. And when you expect them, don't expect them. So, yeah, you might expect them for maybe after the All-Star break this year. You'd think that would be a reasonable amount of time to get 750 jerseys put together because you've got May and June and half of July to do that. And you're a big company. You make a lot of stuff. You'd think that you could focus on that, maybe even do it in a couple of days. But no, I think that it'll probably be, they're saying 2025. I'm thinking All-Star break. I'm thinking a year and a couple of months before it's all set.
And I know that Nike's also involved with this, but the joke is that Fanatics always takes forever. If you've ordered from them, just know that whatever it says the time it will arrive, that just add maybe 2 or 3 more months to that, wouldn't you say?
If you get it at all.
If you, that's the issue. Yeah. And also, I guess the issue is that Nike did something new with the uniforms that involves sweat, and so it's retaining a lot of sweat. Have you seen that report as well?
Yeah. So it's not the dry fit, but what they say is, so 28% of your sweat escapes from your body so that it's not against your body. The problem is it's on the outside of the jersey.
Yeah.
So it soaks through the outside of the jersey. So you feel fine, but everybody who's watching on TV or at the ballpark thinks, oh, how gross. That person's sweating through their jersey.
You're saying that's not good for baseball to see just a bunch of sweaty men out there? And I mentioned this, but the other day, Nolan Gorman, apparently when he had that walk-off home run, that his shirt his jersey's now pink because he had a red undershirt, and so it bled through because of the sweat. What is it going to look like in June and July and August?
Awful, just awful. How
the
baseball,
wet look is in.
Yep, and baseball. Everybody, by the way, the Major League Baseball Players Association in that memo that Jeff Passan referred to, MLB, Fanatics, everybody's blaming Nike, so it must be Nike's fault. And you would think that Nike would be better. One of the big issues, every single player used to have their pants tailored to them, to their legs. What baseball did is they went to 4 different players of 4 different shapes and said, okay, well, we only have 4 different shaped players in baseball, so everybody's going to get basically one of these 4 different shapes of pants.
And there's so many different bodies in baseball. Like, how do you work around that?
That's just Clapp and Matthew Liberatore. Okay, so that's 2 of them, right?
Lance Lynn,
that's 3.
Tyler O'Neill, because Tyler O'Neill liked the tighter fit.
Yeah.
So is he? Yeah. Does he get his specially tailored?
He just gets this medium. Yeah.
Medium.
All right, Matthew, what do we got on the text line?
Take it or leave it. Cards move on from Goldie, and your next first baseman is Pete Alonso.
Leave that.
Pete Alonso. I'm going to leave that. Chip Caray had a great joke, by the way, about Pete Alonso this past weekend. Did you hear what he said?
No, what did he say?
Remember when he made the joke about sending somebody to a hospital? Pete Alonso did. Chip Caray did a play on words with that, where he said, I think that he sent 8 balls to the hospital or something like that. 8 home runs, because he has 8 home runs this season.
So, yeah, we'll ask Chip about that coming up at 8:45.
Take it or leave it. Cardinals have 3 players in the All-Star game.
Okay, so who are we thinking here?
Ryan Helsley.
Offensive players?
They said how many?
Okay, 2.
How many was?
3. He said 3.
3. Okay, Sonny Gray, and then who are we missing? Mason Wynn? Does Mason Wynn?
Oh, yeah, well, there you go, winner. There's 3. Yeah.
Ryan Helsley for sure.
Yeah.
Sonny Gray as well. Mason Wynn.
Okay, I'll
possibly.
take it.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Didn't see those 3 coming.
Take it or leave it.
No, I saw Ryan Helsley. Remember I said that. That was one of my predictions.
Yeah, well done.
About the only one that worked out so far.
Take it or leave it. You're not going to win a lot of games when you make little league base running mistakes. Hint, hint, Contreras, hint, hint.
Oh, yeah, that was not great base running by the Cardinals.
No, I'll take that.
Weekend.
But generally, the Cardinal base running has been good, hasn't it? I mean, we'll accept what the body of work over 24 games. I will accept their base running this year.
Yes. Yeah.
Last year, with that Mason Wynn run that scores on Wednesday against Arizona, when he scores from first on the double, there isn't a Cardinal that scores that run last year. Certainly not their shortstop, whoever it was. DeYoung, maybe. Is there a Cardinal on the team that last year that scores that run? I don't think there is.
No, probably not. Probably not.
Oh, yeah, you were going to say Tommy Edman.
I was going to say Tommy Edman.
Tommy Edman.
Hey, he's still on this roster. Not right now.
I hope he's back by the All-Star break.
I forgot about him.
Yes. Me too. They're saying late May. I love Tommy.
It's gonna be June.
All-Star break.
It's gonna be May. It's gonna. Sorry, Justin Timberlake reference. It's the millennial in me, but it feels like it's gonna be a while. Also, where's Jose Fermin? That's a good question.
Oh, I think
he's around.
What number is he? We haven't seen him yet.
I know. I don't know.
Yeah. Was it you last night that called him the Minnesota Timberlakes?
No.
Somebody last night called the Timberwolves the Minnesota Timberlakes. They'd be much more popular if they were the Timberlakes.
More apt. I want to read this one because I think it's fascinating when somebody from the Great Depression finds a cell phone. Take it or leave it. The best fans in baseball are no longer the best fans because young fans don't read the sports pages in the newspaper anymore.
Take it. 100% take it. Yep. You got to read the sports pages in the newspaper.
Why did you say it like that,
Does anybody read the sports pages in the newspaper?
At the Missouri Athletic Club at the West location, they still have newspapers out there, and I take a gander at them. I like to read the sports pages in the newspaper.
I loved getting the sports pages in the newspaper every morning. When I was a little kid, whether it was the Globe Democrat or the Post, I loved when the USA Today was in its prime. I loved USA Today. And I miss it now because I feel like there's a chance of me missing something on either the USA Today or the STL Today website. Because if you have a newspaper, you see everything, right? You know that you've read cover to cover. You don't know that with the internet. You can't read every page of the internet. It's hard, at least.
Yeah. And well, my other thing, and nothing against the Post-Dispatch, okay? But the amount of ads, and it's like I already paid for it, but then you get on there, and then I'm reading an article article, and all of a sudden something pops up right there in your face.
Right.
And it's like, I just want to read the article. You didn't get that with the sports pages in the newspaper back in the day.
Agreed.
I didn't have an ad just thrown. Well, I mean, there would be ads, but I'm saying it just wouldn't just randomly scare you and pop up right in the middle of you reading something.
Yeah. By the way, to the texter, kids that are baseball fans now know so much more about baseball than we did when we were kids. They have access to so much more information, and they know so much more about baseball that it's scary and ridiculous. But younger people know so much more about baseball than me. It's phenomenal.
If you know a kid who plays MLB The Show too much,
there you go.
I guarantee you can sit him down right now, and he could rip you off the starter at every position on pretty much every team in baseball. And probably and some of the numbers behind on their the back of their card too. I mean, it's insane what you pick up when you spend a lot of time just like sitting in front there playing MLB The Show. Trust me, I know.
There you go. Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you, Randy.
And thank you very much for the text. We do appreciate it. Coming up, the Cardinals have won 3 out of 4 and almost have a 4-game winning streak. Are you starting to believe? That's coming your way on 101 ESPN. Hey, St. Louis, get your exclusive City SC debit card from Together Credit Union. Together Credit Union is the only place to find this official fan debit card, which comes with special perks like a free lifetime My City Plus membership, in-stadium discounts on food, beverages, and merchandise, and most exciting, express entry into City SC matches. And as a special bonus, Together Credit Union will also send you a commemorative print of City Park Stadium, the home of St. Louis City SC, while supplies last. How do you get the card? It's easy. Open any personal checking account online at togethercu.org or stop by any of the Together Credit Union's 14 local branches and sign up and get your card there and choose the St. Louis City SC debit card at account opening. It's the place to be, Together Credit Union, for their great relationship and partnership with City SC. There's no cost for the City SC debit card, so don't wait. Sign up today and show your pride for St. Louis City SC. Membership eligibility required, federally insured by the NCUA.
On the day's top stories, it's the Opening Drive's Fresh Take.
Grimsley, Matthew Rocchio, Randy Carricker, the opening drive on 101 ESPN in St. Louis. It's 8:05. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Brooke, the Cardinals took 2 out of 3 from Arizona, 2 out of 3 from the Mets, and all of a sudden they're closing in on 500. As a matter of fact, could have made it yesterday, but weren't able to overcome the Mets in extra innings. But that being said, when you look at the standings now, the Cardinals, yes, they're still in last place, but they're only a half game out of fourth, 4.5 games behind the leading Brewers in the division. The Cubs are in second place, a half game behind. The Cardinals at 13 and 15. With the series wins against Arizona and the Mets, and especially the Mets on the road, I kind of have a feeling that this team is finding its place. And what did I say before the season? I said 500 team, maybe an 82, 83 win team. I think that they can hang around here and be what they are right now for the whole season. And if you get to 82, 83, I think 85, 86 could win this division. So maybe you win a few games that you shouldn't, or you stay hotter than you are right now. I think there's a chance. So I have a little bit of belief here in the Cardinals.
I think that they're what they are currently. They're just a middling team. Now, my one big concern here is because obviously you address the pitching. I think your starting pitching gives you a chance more times than not to win a game, and your bullpen has been excellent. We talked about the three-headed monster of JoJo Romero, Andrew Kittredge, and Ryan Helsley. They're the reason why that you've been able to get a lot of the wins this season. So bullpen is the highlight for me for the Cardinals. My concern is how long will the starting pitching last, and will the offense eventually catch up? Because this weekend, and you look at yesterday's game, it was a really just devastating loss the way that it ended there. But you can be mad at Libby. You can be mad at, I don't even think you can be mad at Libby. Let me just state that. But I'm saying I've seen some texts where people are saying, why would you let him go back out there to the 11th? Who else would you go to in that situation? Nick Robertson or John King? Are you really going to put John King out there in that situation? The issue is offensively. Once again, there's no consistency there. When will that start to turn around? Because they're still bottom of the league in just about every category that you need to be good at. And oh, by the way, they're now tied with the White Sox with just 18 home runs. That is dead last in the league right now. Where's the power with this team offensively?
And you have to hope, if you're a Cardinal fan, that at some point Goldschmidt and Arenado be what they have been in the past. Even last year, they hit for enough power so that they could be part of a lineup, but there's no power at all
this
lineup. And you need those guys to step up. And you need some people Nolan Arenado said last week, we need Jordan Walker. They do need Jordan Walker. They need Jordan Walker to be on this team and hitting for power. And like Greg Amsinger said, in the top or the middle of the lineup, because they aren't going to get power from center field. They probably aren't going to get a ton of power from left. They aren't going to get power from shortstop. Maybe they'll get a little bit from Brendan Donovan. Maybe he'll be at his best, a 15 to 20 homer guy. I don't know if that'll happen this year. And then Contreras needs to step up and hit for a little bit more power as well. But the guys that you're paying, and you pay power hitters, you aren't getting enough from Arenado and Goldie yet. One other point here, by the way, about your reasonable questions about the starting pitching, because I have the same questions. Maybe the Cardinals are thinking the same thing, and that's why Thompson and Palante are being sent down to stretch out as starters.
I think that that's a really, really good point, because you have to wonder how long that this will last. The starting pitching, we know, everybody's talked about the age. We talked about it at length. They're very well seasoned, and we are very aware of that. But how long will it last? And can the offense catch up? Because right now the starting pitching is giving the offense enough time to be able to figure out their portion of what they need to do, and they have still yet to do that. I mean, yesterday in the game, just 4 hits and 2 runs in 11 innings.
Yeah, and it really wasn't like you weren't going against the Mets' Jacob deGrom yesterday either.
1 for 12 with runners in scoring position. Situational hitting is something that carried over from last season, and that's a cause for concern. And for Nolan Gorman, too, he provides power, but I think you just have to sit with the fact that he's going to be streaky. So some other guys have to step up in this situation, because on the pitching side, everybody's stepping up. Matthew Liberatore, I was very impressed with his outing and how he's able to handle everything. Ryan Fernandez, what a revelation that he's been. He was able to get you through unscathed, and he was able to come into a tough situation there. Even Giovanni Gallegos, now I know that he struggled with his command a little bit, but still, I feel like he's working his way back into the conversation. The bullpen did their part offensively once again, which seems to be the story this season for the Cardinals. The Bats weren't able to do their part.
By the way, it's obviously very early, but I think one of the things that's happened to the offense as well is, and I advocated for Herrera to be in the lineup, and I thought maybe by midseason he'd be the Cardinals starting catcher. He's down to 200 now. And his OPS is 622. So he's not providing the offense that I anticipated that he would provide either.
Is it because that he's playing more frequently now because of the situation they're in?
You get exposed when you play a lot, and hopefully he'll be able to adjust to baseball's adjustments. One other quick point about Zach Thompson. You sent me a text over the weekend, and was it John Denton that said that Thompson lost weight during the offseason?
Yes.
So
I can pull it up.
My sincere hope would be that as they sent Zach Thompson down, they had him cross the clubhouse and talk to official team nutritionist Lance Lynn about what he needs to do to get better.
Yes, exactly. Well, you're sending him to Memphis, so there's plenty of barbecue down there.
Yeah, good point.
Now, it's not St. Louis barbecue, but still a lot of good eating down there in Memphis, so he'll be able to fatten up a little bit.
I wonder if they still have that Elvis Presley restaurant on Beale Street. Where you could get the peanut butter and banana sandwich.
Oh, you can get that anywhere.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
because
Tennessee.
Like kind of what he needs. He needs a lot of peanut butter. That's protein and banana, and maybe put some chocolate sauce on it.
Oh, that sounds delicious. But yes, to your point, he mentioned that the losing of weight for Zach Thompson had a lot to do with, I guess, his mechanics and what we're talking about. Dan has been talking about the velo for a while. So what do you do? Can you just quickly fatten him up and then everything's fixed?
I think so. Well, here's the thing. Okay, I would love to believe, Ollie said this, that he lost weight and lost velo. Please explain Pedro Martinez to me. Please explain Sonny Gray to me. Okay, if you're worried about that guy losing weight and losing velo, why is it all these skinny guys can throw hard?
Do you think it was something that he wanted to do on his own, or that the Cardinals asked him to maybe get into a better shape?
I would think he probably did it on his own, but I don't think there's a real correlation between pitchers throwing hard and being heavy or not heavy.
I just had an idea too, because remember who else lost weight coming into the season? Alec Burleson, and he's been kind of scuffling in some of the situations he's been put in.
So we've got a problem here.
Do not lose weight. That is what we're saying.
I think if they just had a little seminar with me.
And Lance Lynn.
I think we could solve a lot of their problems.
You are the headliner. Lance Lynn is also a part of this conversation, and you guys can explain.
Or maybe Lance could be like maybe we could have 3 or 4 people. Like Lance could be the main course guy. We could have a sides person. I would do sides. I would do, guys, you got to go out macaroni and cheese. Now throw some protein in there. Lobster mac and cheese is great. But then we need a dessert person. I know that you're... I know you love your desserts, even though you're trying to avoid them at the moment.
Randy, I have a huge sweet tooth, if you can't tell. Anytime that you guys bring anything in here, do I not always say when you guys bring in anything, donuts, I'm like, oh, guys, don't do that. I'm not going to have one. And then literally 20 minits later, I'm demolishing the donuts.
It's pretty fun.
I have no self-control.
That's another thing.
Sweets.
Donuts for breakfast. We've got to, that's another thing that we need to advocate for the Cardinals.
No running either.
Yeah. No, what a waste of time that is. One time there was a great sportscaster. He lived in Dallas. His name was Frank Glieber, Glieber, network sportscaster for CBS, and he had a heart attack jogging.
Oh.
So really, how good is this new thing, jogging? How good is it for you if you're having heart attacks while you do it?
Someone from the 304 said, can Gorman get him his old popcorn recipe?
Thank you. Yes, there we go.
Big City was terrible after he lost weight. There has to be a study on this. We need Jeff Passan doing a deep 3-year dive like he did on, remember the arm book we talked about? Yeah. He needs to do a deep dive on this as well.
Go all the way back to Fernando Valenzuela, who was great fat and not great skinny. It's a fact of life, folks, that you are better athletically if you are a little rotund. There's nothing wrong with being a little bit rotund. So there's your fresh take here on 101 ESPN. Rotund is better athletically. Coming up next, the voice of the Blues, Chris Kerber, talking some NHL playoff hockey. And an interesting note, did you see Ben Fred's piece yesterday about the Blues coaching search?
Oh, yes, about who else would you find other than Craig Berube? Does he not embody what exactly that you're looking for?
What you're looking for. We'll ask Kerbs about it next on 101 ESPN.
Hey, it's Jamie Rivers for Window World, America's largest replacement window and exterior remodeling company. With Window World, it's all about customer happiness and beautiful, durable windows. Add value to your home, and with Window World, you can make the improvement because they are now offering 18 months same-as-cash financing with approved credit. Plus, there is a lifetime warranty that covers all parts, glass breakage, and labor. See why they are simply the best for less. Make sure you visit them online at windowworld.com.
Summertime is the best time to enhance the appearance of your home. Banner Construction can make your home the showplace of the neighborhood with maintenance-free James Hardie siding and Pella replacement windows. Visit bannerconstruction.com or call 314-569-1050.
Hey, listen to this review that Classic Air Care got from Stacy. We were out of town and came home to an AC that wasn't blowing. Christian got here within 4 hours of my initial contact and got us back up and cooling over July 4th weekend. He found some other issues, but got my unit running so we could get through the holiday and make a plan. I am extremely happy with Classic Air Care. That is the kind of service you will get when you give them a call or you book an appointment online. It's classicaircare.com, A-I-R-E. They take care of my house. They take care of Alex Ferrario's house. They'll take care of your house as well. And you're going to get that kind of quality service every single time you need it. And let's face it, it's not fun when we need it. The house gets uncomfortable. You're wondering how long it's going to take. Well, they make that process easy. They get out there quickly. They get it fixed. And they make sure you have what you need. They've been making your life more comfortable for all your heating, cooling, and plumbing needs, making people comfortable for nearly 100 years. It's Classic Air Care. Book an appointment online at classicaircare.com.
Time for KerbSide with the voice of the Blues, Chris Kerber. Brought to you by Scott Lee Heating Company, a proud Mitsubishi Electric Elite contractor.
Brooke and Randy and the opening drive on 101 ESPN, and we head to the Celebrity Line. And our buddy, the voice of the Blues, Chris Kerber, joins us. Good morning, sir. How you doing?
Randy, I'm good today. How are you guys?
Everything's great. Did you stay up late last night to watch that game? I confess that doing a morning show, I went to bed.
I did not stay up late to watch it. I watched part of it and then went to bed.
And it was like the most atypical Oilers game ever. They won 1-0.
Yeah, they win 1-0, and L.A. was all over them at the beginning of the game, too. You know, Stuart Skinner, I mean, Edmonton got some goaltending here, and But, yeah, that one was almost a classic atypical Edmonton game. And if Edmonton can find a way to start winning close games or low-scoring games, they then become a dangerous commodity in the playoffs. I'm not sure that that's who they really are, so I don't know that it'll stick. But I can tell you that if you can't win a game or two like that, especially in the first round, you got a hard time getting out of it.
Kerbs, we discussed this, Randy and I did, a little bit last week. The Golden Knights obviously facing against the Dallas Stars. And right in time for Game 1 of the playoffs, Mark Stone was activated off the long-term injured reserve. There was some controversy surrounding it. What is your take on that?
Well, the controversy surrounding it is one of philosophies rather than, I guess, actual legalities. We saw the Chicago Blackhawks do it in 2015, I think it was. We saw the Tampa Bay Lightning do it with Nikita Kucherov. And now we've seen Vegas do it a couple years in a row, and both happen to be Mark Stone. The issue for the fans that may not know about it is if a player gets injured and he's going to be out, and I think it's something like 10 games plus 20 days or something like that, you can, during the regular season, you can put them on long-term IR. That gives you the chance to then basically take, if their average salary is $7 million, their average annual value of their salary is $7 million. That allows you, that frees up then basically $7 million of cap space that you can go get somebody with. And that's really what Vegas did. And with that cap space, they went out and they got Hannafin, a defenseman, and they got Tomas Hertl from the San Jose Sharks. The problem that people are having, the controversy part is how many times these guys that are on LTIR at the end of the season are then back in Game 1 of the playoffs. And the reality of it is what it does is it is a form of cap circumvention. Now, it's legal. You can't argue. I mean, the guy had a lacerated spleen. I get it. There's no arguing the injury, right? But once again, able to come out and start skating 3-4 days before the season ended, medically cleared 2 days before the playoffs start. It just, look, if it walks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, it's typically a duck. And in this case, it's a duck. And Gary Bettman and the National Hockey League and the general managers have an issue on their hands. Now, the way that, again, and you got to make sure that this point is clear, they're playing within the rules. The doctor says the guy's not ready. I mean, those are the rules. And the salary cap does not apply to the playoffs, right? What I'm hearing, and I've talked to 2 general managers about this, like, if this is going to get addressed, it's going to have to be addressed by the players. The players are going to have to say enough. So then I talked to 2, after hearing that from 2 GMs, I went to 2 players and asked the same question. They said, yeah, we think this is total, BS. And I'm like, okay, well, what are you going to do about it? Well, there's really nothing. Okay, well, that's why nothing changes when somebody says, I don't like this, but I'm not going to make an attempt to make a change. So the reason the GMs wouldn't want to change it is a lot of GMs, if they end up with a chance to use it, want to use it. And I have no idea what's going to go with the players. But if you're the Dallas Stars, right, and you just had a season you had winning the Central Division, which is hard as hell to do, and then you're up against a team that now has Hannafin and Hertl because they were able to get those players from LTIR and Stonesville. Like, at some point, the players have got to get a little hacked off at the inequity of it. And in a cap era, it doesn't seem to make much sense. So unless the powers that be start to feel there's an issue with it, I don't see it changing. Now, I did do one other thing. I went down a rabbit hole. Now, the salary cap, guys, remember in the regular season, it applies to your 23-man roster, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not as easy to say, well, you have to put a team on the ice that fits under the cap. Because if you look at the 8 teams that are in the Western Conference playoffs, 7 of the 8 teams, the team that they fielded on the ice in Game 1 of their respective series, all were under what would have been the salary cap. Now, when you expand that roster out another 5 players to 23, or even 3 players to 20, about 3 others were over the cap. Vegas was the only one with the team on the ice, the actual 20 players on the ice, that would have been actually over the salary cap with their Game 1 roster. So how they break it down, for me, it's real simple. If you're on LTIR in the final 2 games of the regular season, you are ineligible to play in the first round of the playoffs. And then I think this problem gets solved.
And Kerbs, this is also, there's an easy fix, but it has to be in the CBA. When Aaron Rodgers gets hurt for the Jets, they can't go over the salary cap. They just have to deal with what they have and go get somebody. Joe Burrow gets hurt for the Bengals. They can't go out and sign Joe Flacco to a $2 million contract that takes them over the cap. Why not just have it be a hard cap and say, okay, well, this is what the cap is. You can never go over it.
Yeah, and they used to have, too, if you remember back in 04-05, Randy, the original cap, I don't know what it had when it came. I don't remember what that one was when it came to the injury side of it. But remember that you could not retain salary when you traded a player. And Brian Burke, I think was the leader in trying to get that changed. So there are ways to get out of bad contracts, or there are ways to move players. And because it created very little movement for general managers, because you literally had to trade dollars in, dollars out. The injury one, I agree with you on that in some respect. Now, look, you get a guy that goes out with a torn ACL in game one. Well, I mean, shoot, Aaron Rodgers. And does that hose your whole season? This allows that to maybe not happen, but I do think there has to be a tweak. Maybe it's you can only you're unlucky and it's a 50% cap hit that you're only allowed to replace, whatever that may be. Because had Stone come back for game 81 or game 82, they would have had to clear whatever it is, $8 or $9 million worth of salary off their stuff rather than just keep them on there. And so, look, again, it's within the rules what they're doing right now, right? But it's clearly not within the realm of integrity when it comes to that. So, I mean, if the general manager of the Vegas Golden Knights is going to do a media tour saying this is baloney, it's a legit injury, he's just sitting back laughing the day that Mark Stone says, okay, I think I'm going to go skate a week before the playoffs. I do believe that these leagues have to keep integrity in their sports at all costs, and this type of practice flies in the face of integrity of competition, in my opinion.
Kerbs, Ben Frederickson yesterday at STLtoday.com and in the Post-Dispatch suggested that the coach that fits what the Blues are looking for in a new coach is probably Craig Berube. What do you think of that idea?
I think it's because they got rid of a good coach, right? It's because that coach has every quality that they want: accountability, hard nose, and I think it's also, frankly, because as fans of Craig Berube, we all got used and loved that style, right? But as you can see, there's 16 other teams in the playoffs. There's 16 other coaches that are good enough to get a team to the playoffs. John Cooper has won Stanley Cups. You've got Pete DeBoer that's taken teams to Stanley Cup finals, right? Bruce Cassidy won a Stanley Cup. You've got Sullivan in Pittsburgh. You've got other coaches that have there's different ways to skin a cat. Yes, those qualities are what you're looking for. No, I don't see that reunion happening, right? It wouldn't add up to me. And, I still don't know how to handicap where Doug is going on this, to be honest with you. I haven't talked to him, but there's a lot of different ways. I mean, look, Drew Bannister coached his team to 10 games over 500 when they were below 500 in the previous 100, and it was pretty much the same team, right? So there's different ways to go about this. I just think whatever the Blues get, they just need someone that's and if it's not keeping Drew Bannister here, it's just someone that's really straightforward, that can bring some young kids along, because there's going to be a 3 or 4 year window here where to be successful, you're going to have to rely on some very young, inexperienced NHL players.
Finally, Kerbs, I know recency bias plays a big role in what I'm going to say here, because there's a lot of good teams in the playoffs. I think the best team I've seen in these playoffs are the Rangers.
Well, they're fantastic. And the one thing that did make them look good is Washington was not very good.
Exactly.
In the Eastern Conference, I think you're seeing things play out pretty much as they should have played out, right? I mean, the Rangers end up sweeping Washington, really didn't have much of an issue. Florida is better than Tampa this year. I thought Tampa might put up a little bit more, but, the Tampa Bay Lightning, after, couple cup runs and all that, they've gone into that we don't know quite where we're at just mode. Carolina got unlucky in that sense. The New York Islanders squeaked one out, but if anybody thinks the Islanders are going to win 3 in a row, I think that's insane. So the Eastern, Randy, is shaking out kind of edge. I don't know about you. I don't know that these first-round games have been all that. I guess there hasn't been a ton of drama.
No,
right?
They haven't been very compelling at all, have they?
No. I mean, the intensity is great.
Yeah.
The action is great. I think we've had 5 overtime games total. So where you have to find your drama, your compellingness, is you're like, the city of Toronto's about to have a nuclear meltdown.
Right.
It's those kind of things. Now, that Winnipeg, Colorado series is still going to be a beast. You're hoping that Dallas can find a way to tie that series up against against Vegas. But it's been pretty much almost as expected so far in the first round, when normally you might just see utter chaos.
Let me give you one more here. The Tampa Bay, tell me, take it or leave it, and then go with it where you like. The Tampa Bay Lightning are to the NHL what the Golden State Warriors are to the NBA. The window is essentially closed. Is my take.
Yeah, if not, it's closing. I think it's a fair comparison. The only reason I say that, a lot could depend on this offseason, right? Because the Tampa Bay Lightning are now, I think, where the Blues were last year or 2 years ago. You're like, okay, what's a key move or two that you can make, right, that extends this thing for Vasilevsky, for Hedman, for Stamkos, for Kucherov? And they've got some other good players. So the key is how you tweak it and how you do it. And, Randy, I think the Vegas Golden Knights are rewriting the way, and I think teams, not just NHL teams, the Vegas Golden Knights are rewriting the way I think teams should look and potentially look at building. I mean, if you have to tear your team down to nothing like the San Jose Sharks did, okay, and they've missed the playoffs every year now since 2019, and there's no end in sight to that process. So that could be a 7, 8, 9 year process, right? Okay, or you'd say, to hell with draft picks. I'm going to spend some money. I'm going to go and I'm going to sign this guy and try to chase down this guy, and I'm going to use the rules to my favor. And I'm going to just make sure that I've got talent that can last me for a little while and keep going through that. Well, it's worked now for 6 or 7 years for the Vegas Golden Knights to stay competitive. Okay, that's a heck of a window in there, and they won a cup in there. So, if teams stay with the old mode of, okay, we'll trade this guy, we'll get these prospects, we'll hope this comes in, then if more teams start to go the way the Vegas Golden Knights are doing, I think that other way of going about it could be really outdated and make it extremely difficult to compete. So I'm real curious how teams like how San Jose compared to Tampa, compared to the Blues, compared to the Flyers, are all going to manage their way through this, because I honestly think the Vegas Golden Knights are shedding light on a new way to do things.
No doubt about it. No doubt. Kerbs, thanks so much. Always great to have you with us on the show, and we will talk to you next week. Have a great week.
All right, you guys. Have an awesome week. Talk to you later.
Thanks, brother. That's Chris Kerber, your voice of the Blues here on 101 ESPN. Brooke, it used to be that when teams did what the Golden Knights are doing, their front office was derisively panned by other teams, saying, "Oh, they're like a fantasy hockey manager." Well, like Kerb said, it's working. So maybe the play is to be like a hockey fantasy manager, trade all your picks and get guys that you know can play right now.
Yeah, it's just that there's a lot of people taking advantage of the loophole, and they're not the only ones that have done this. We've seen Tampa do it. We've seen a lot of other teams do this. I'll just be interested to see if eventually the NHL does something about this.
I think in the next CBA, I think there's enough people upset about it that they'll have to do something.
Exactly.
And by the way, he didn't mention Toronto. Toronto's got to blow that thing up now, don't they?
They do.
8 years.
This is it. This is the end of it.
Yeah.
It feels like.
And the other night, I don't know if you saw that they had it was Marner, Nylander, and Matthews all whining on the bench against each other the other night. And poor John Tavares, the captain there, he's from Toronto. He grew up a Maple Leafs fan, and there's nothing the captain can do about it. And it's just, it hasn't worked there, and they need to try a different look.
They do. And I'm sure fans are just taking this very, very well.
Yeah.
In Toronto.
I'm sure it's going just like it is for the Cardinals here in St. Louis.
Exactly.
Next up, we've got the fight. I guess we need a fighter, huh, Matthew? So, just text in the word fight and your name to 314-399-9646, 314-399-YO-HO. And the fight's coming your way next on 101 ESPN. Hey, there's a lot of cool things going on as Mother's Day approaches with my friends at Sound Story. With Mother's Day being right around the corner, if you're looking for something easy yet incredibly special that truly shows your mom how much she means to you, then I have it for you with a gift certificate from Sound Story. Sound Story is a professionally produced hour-long conversation in which your mom is interviewed by your choice of one of our professional interviewers, including myself, Tim McKernan, Anthony Stalter, and more. And now you and your siblings can go in on a gift certificate for your mom and get her a sound story at mysoundstory.com. And now until Mother's Day, enter the promo code ESPN and get 10% off that Sound Story gift certificate. It really is a great podcast where we go through your mom's life and times and life story, and you and your descendants will be able to hear that interview forever. Purchasing a gift certificate couldn't be any easier. All it takes is a few clicks at mysoundstory.com, and you'll have given the most thoughtful gift your mom will have ever received. Preserve your mom's life story, her smile, her laugh, and save it for your family to enjoy for generations to come. Go to mysoundstory.com and enter the promo code ESPN to get a 10% discount from Sound Story for you, for them, forever.
This is Rocky with your Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals take 2 of 3 from the Mets, unfortunately, failing in the sweep with a extra innings loss yesterday on Sunday. They'll try to get back in the win column with a 3-game series against the Tigers. It'll be Steven Matz tonight for the Cardinals. It's in a 5:40 first pitch. Lefty Matz faces off against the righty for the Tigers, Kenta Maeda. Maeda on the season is 0-1 with a 5.96 ERA through about 23 innings pitched. That is your Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Welcome to the fight. In the red corner, Average Joe Listener. And in the blue corner, the undisputed king of morning drive. Please welcome Randy Carricker.
Brooke, Randy, and Rocc here, and it is time for the fight. And our fighter this Monday is Kenny. Kenny, how are you doing?
Doing good, Brooke. Good morning. How are you?
We're doing great. Is this your first time facing Randy in the fight?
No, unfortunately not. I've faced him a couple times. I've lost one and tied one.
Unfortunately. Okay. Well, you never know, and you could possibly get another one here today. Especially, you said you tied one, right?
Time also.
Ooh, you hear that, Rocc? We had a lot of tiebreakers last week, so
yeah, we had 4 of the 5 fights last week went to tiebreakers. Don't do that anymore. I'm running out of them.
I'm trying not to.
All right.
Well, Kenny, I'm rooting for you, so I want it to happen again. I want to see Rocc sweat a little bit.
Oh, come on.
You ready for question number 1?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Despite becoming Hall of Famers and All-Timers with the Chiefs and Colts respectively, Lynn Dawson and Johnny Unitas were drafted by the same team. Which current AFC squad was it? Was it the Steelers, the Browns, or the Jets?
Oh, We go with the Browns.
Who was the last team that the Blues swept in a playoff series? Was it the Canucks, the Stars, or the Wild?
Let me think about that. Hold on. Let's say the Canucks.
Final answer?
Yes.
Question 3. In almost 150 years of National League Baseball, there have been 6 players who have played all 9 positions in one season. Which Cardinal is on that list? Is it Yadier Molina, Skip Schumacher, or Jose Oquendo?
Gut tells me Jose Oquendo.
Is that what you're going to go with?
Yes, I'm going to go with that.
All right. Immortalized in the movie Moneyball, the A's 20-game winning streak was punctuated by a walk-off home run against the Royals by whom? Was that David Justice, John Mabry, or Scott Hatteberg?
Now, these are tough. Scott Hatteberg, final answer.
All right. We'll double-check our score, and we will bring in Randy Carricker.
Okay, Kenny, how are you feeling?
Really not good.
Not good? You never know. What were you, I guess, most worried about?
A definite football question was, I don't know that at all.
Well, you never know with Randy.
I really could not recall the Blues at all either.
Oh, and Randy's in the room right now. Grapes are demolished, Kenny, just to give you an update.
Bag.
We like to do the grape update here. It is completely gone. He said grape. Randy, say hi to Kenny.
Kenny, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, Randy. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for listening. Thanks for playing. We appreciate it.
No problem.
All right, ready for question number 1, Randy?
Ready.
Despite becoming Hall of Famers and all-timers with the Chiefs and Colts, respectively, Lynn Dawson and Johnny Unitas were drafted by the same team. Which current AFC squad was it?
Johnny Unitas and Len Dawson. Let's see. Was Johnny Unitas a Steeler? I think it might have been the Steelers, so I'm going to go with Pittsburgh. Let me just double check my thought process here, because there could only be like 4 of them. Actually, they could even be less. I'm pretty sure. I'll go with the Steelers.
Randy, who was the last team that the Blues swept in a playoff series?
Ooh, good one. 1920. We didn't sweep anybody in 20, I'll tell you that. 21. So I think we have to go back before 18. I don't know if we did I'll do the lifeline. It might have been the Predators. Let's see.
Was it the Canucks, the Stars, or the Wild?
Wild. I don't know if we swept them and lost to the Predators. I thought we had beat the Predators and lost to the Wild. But there was a great Jake Allen performance, seems, against them. So then you got the Stars and the Canucks. I don't think it was the Canucks. We did sweep the Stars a long, long time ago. So I'm going to go with the Minnesota Wild.
Final answer?
Yes.
Question 3. In almost 150 years of National League Baseball, there have been 6 players who played all 9 positions in one season. Which Cardinal is on that list?
Jose Oquendo. Secret weapon. You also had Bert Campaneris. You had that guy from the Tigers. You had a bunch. You had 6 of them, right? Yeah, you had a few. So you had one recently.
God, what a pull.
Yeah.
Sorry. I had to double check Bert Campaneris. Oh my God, that was impressive. Yeah. Good Lord Almighty. That was in 1965. Jesus, Randy. Question number 4. Immortalized in the movie Moneyball, the A's 20-game winning streak was punctuated by a walk-off home run against the Royals. By whom?
I got to go with the star of the movie, Scott Hatteberg. I'm going to go Scott Hatteberg. Even though it should have been, like, somebody should have mentioned Miguel Tejada. You know what would have been nice in that movie?
He gets mentioned 2 times in passing in that movie.
Yeah, he won the MVP that year. Would have been nice to mention maybe Tim Hudson or Barry Zito or Mark Mulder.
You know.
The only time you see Tim Hudson in the entire movie is when he's getting shelled in that game as the Royals are coming back from being down 11-0. The only time you see a Tim Hudson jersey is he's literally getting shelled in like the 6th inning of that game. That's the only time.
And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, in the trailer, They have Hatteberg with a shot from behind hitting a home run. I'm assuming that's the home run, but I think Hatteberg was the only player they really liked on that team.
Michael Lewis just picked one guy and ran with it. All right, well, was that shot of that home run that Randy's referring to in the trailer, was that the home run that we're talking about? Well, we'll find out here because we have a winner in today's fight. No tiebreaker needed. Is it Kenny coming here on a Monday trying to break his streak against Randy, not get a tie and walk away with a win today? Or does Randy Kerber break a streak of his own? Ring that bell.
The winner and still champion of the fight, Randy Kerber.
The fight is presented by Golf Discount of St. Louis. With the most experienced club fitters in town. Why shop anywhere else?
I'm so sorry, Kenny. Randy Kerber just barely edged you out. He beat you 3-2 in today's fight.
That's all good. I don't like that horn either.
That's very fair. Let's go through the questions and the answers. Despite becoming Hall of Famers and all-timers with the Chiefs and Colts, respectively, Len Dawson and Johnny Unitas were both drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Len Dawson was the 9th overall pick in the 1957 draft, but Johnny Unitas was a 9th rounder in the 1955 draft, so he gets released quickly, goes to the Colts, becomes a legend. Dawson, though, has stops off with the Steelers and the Browns before going to the Chiefs, who were an AFL squad, and then becoming, obviously, a legend with the Chiefs. The last team that the Blues swept in the playoff series, you were right, Randy, but you just didn't roll with the confidence. You got to go all the way back to 2000-2001 Western Semis when they sweep the Dallas Stars.
Oh wow!
Last time they swept the team in a playoff series, it was a 4-1 win over the Wild. They got one dumb game in there. In almost 150 years of NL baseball, there have been 6 players who played all 9 positions in one season. It was in fact Jose Oquendo of the Cardinals who's on that list. Randy, do you remember which season that was?
I think it was 88.
It was in fact 1988. Very good. And you said Bert Campaneris. So you remember?
Yeah.
So it's where am I at? So it's 5 or 6 players in the NL, and I think it's 5 players in the AL.
Somebody did it like in the last decade with the Tigers, right? Or maybe in between 2000 and 2010 maybe?
Yes, Andrew Romine.
There you go. Yep,
that was what and Chris Bryant did with the Chicago with the Chicago Cubs a few years ago. Yeah. And immortalized in the movie Moneyball, the A's 20-game winning streak was punctuated by a walk-off home run against the Royals by, in fact, Scott Hatteberg. It's actually one of my favorite memes or GIFs to use on Twitter because the look when Brad Pitt snaps his head up when he hits the home run. It's my favorite thing when your team's been down the entire game and all of a sudden something happens that changes the game. That GIF's always a good go-to. Kenny, good job today in the fight. Thank you so much for joining the show and joining the fight today.
Yeah, thanks for the time.
Thank you, Kenny. Good to have you with us. Coming up next on 101 ESPN, Chip Caray, TV voice of the Cardinals, here on the opening drive. It's Monday, and that means it's Meatloaf Monday at the Fenton Bar and Grill. If you want some great comfort food on a gloomy St. Louis day, head to the Fenton Bar and Grill for lunch or dinner today and enjoy their spectacular meatloaf, maybe their burger special with a side and a drink for just $6.99. They have fantastic soups every day of the week over at the Fenton Bar and Grill, and they have great service too. Now, make sure you start with the greatest wings you'll ever have, the Trashed Wings. The Trashed Wings at the Fenton Bar and Grill are absolutely wonderful. Have them with some of their signature golden sauce, or maybe go with some of their ranch. It's great. And of course, Brooke wants to know about the feisty redhead, Kelly. Yeah, but Brooke is a feisty redhead as well. So, yeah, you can say hi to Kelly, say hi to Megan, say hi to Alicia when you stop by. The whole gang over there is just so fun and so friendly, and they're going to treat you well, and they're going to provide you with great food. They have their 6 for $6 happy hour 7 days a week from 2 to 5. 6 appetizer options for only $6 each. It's the Fenton Bar and Grill, 2 minutes away from the soccer park in Fenton. Just get to the soccer park and follow Rudder Road to the Fenton Bar and Grill. And when you get there, tell them Randy sent you. You need me to talk here. It's a radio show. Huh? I'm texting Chip.
Chip, where are you?
We're efforting Chip Caray. We are also having a major debate within the confines of the 101 ESPN studio as to what constitutes a redhead. So there's no doubt, like when you go to the Fenton Bar and Grill, Kelly is a feisty redhead. Brooke fancies herself as a feisty redhead, and I don't disagree with you, but our producer Matthew Rocchio does. He says you're a strawberry blonde.
But that's still in the redhead category. So being a redhead is a spectrum.
There, he says.
We can ask Chip about this as well. We can just continue this conversation.
Yeah,
but being a redhead is basically like a spectrum, Randy. There's many classifications for this. I consider myself auburn because I have mostly brown, and then I have highlights, which are fake, so I'm not counting that.
Okay.
But it's red to me. And also, when I was younger in middle school, I was called Chucky a lot. So I feel like if you've been called Chucky at some point in your life, you're allowed to call yourself a redhead.
Anytime in your life. I agree with that.
Exactly.
So that's fair. So, yeah, so this is, we've got it figured out.
I just feel like sometimes people believe that you have to be a ginger, basically, to be considered a redhead.
Okay.
When there's more of us out there.
The very intelligent and worldly Chip Caray joins us now on the celebrity line. He's in Detroit with the Cardinals. And Chip, first of all, welcome. Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day up here in Birmingham, and spring has sprung, so we're actually going to have some warm weather for a change, which will be nice.
I like that. Brooke, you know Brooke. Brooke claims to be a redhead. Do you agree with her?
I don't. Sorry.
Really? Okay. Oh, come on, Chip. You see, first of all, this is what happens when we wait for you, because then we have to talk about redheads and stuff like that, who are very not well represented, I feel like. So I feel like I take this very seriously. Why am I not a redhead, Chip? This is the first question I have.
Well, you're very calm. You're very level-headed. Right? Emotionally stable. Is that safe to say?
What does this mean?
She's not a feisty redhead. That's a great point, Chip.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Oh,
there you go.
no.
There you go. Yeah.
So, hey, we were talking about this, and first of all, you're around the team every single day, and I think Ollie has grown significantly as a manager. We were talking about what possibly could have been done yesterday, and when he allowed Matthew Liberatore to pitch in that 11th, I thought, and Brooke thought, that was the best option. You had Robertson and you had John King. Those were the only two that were really available. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do. I think Ollie's done a great job. And I think, this whole term of growth, respectfully, this man won 93 games as manager 2 years ago because he had really good players. Last year, the team lost 91 games because they didn't have a very good pitching staff. This year, he's managed the bullpen exceptionally well. And I think if you want to apply the term growth, I think a better word might be discipline. it's very tempting to send your top relievers out every single day in April and try to win every possible game. Look, you want to win every game, don't misunderstand me, but you can't do that at the risk of blowing your guys out because you won't have any arms left in June or July. I think he's shown remarkable restraint in sticking to his guns, giving other guys opportunities, and those other guys have rewarded him with really, really great performances. Liberatore was terrific yesterday. Fernandez was outstanding as well, and you've got to rest the big three guys and make sure that they're healthy for the long haul. So disciplined, I think, is a better word than growth, and I think Ollie's done an exceptionally good job of that. And let's be honest, too, we wouldn't be talking about bullpen usage if we'd have a 7-1 game thrown in every now and then.
Right.
That's really the biggest issue for the Cardinals right now is we just can't get a big hit, and when that happens, and it will, a lot of these conversations about who should pitch and when will go by the boards, I think.
Well, I have two comments for you, Chip. One, I love the Pete Alonso joke that you had this past weekend. If you don't mind resharing that for the listeners, because Randy missed it.
Well, yesterday was the anniversary of Stubby Clapp's takedown of Pete Alonso, the fight at Busch Stadium. Remember when Nolan Arenado got buzzed with a pitch inside? The Mets have been hit by a bunch of pitches and were tired of it, so they threw one at Arenado. The bench is empty, blah, blah, blah. And Pete Alonso was asked about it after the game, apparently, and said, I'm a big, strong guy. I could put people in the hospital if I want to. So every time the Mets play the Cardinals, Brad always says, well, he's a big, strong guy. And I said, well, Pete's also put 8 baseballs in the hospital with 8 home runs on the year. So we just slide him into the radar, and a couple people get him every now and then.
It was so good. You have so many great one-liners, and I love listening to you and BT. My other comment was you're talking about things offensively, because that's the thing is that I feel like the pitching is giving them a good chance more times than not. But it's about the offense, and we're continuing to talk about that. They were 1 for 12 with runners in scoring position yesterday, just 4 hits, 2 runs. What is giving you hope offensively for this team?
Well, you're seeing fits and starts of guys coming around. I mean, Goldschmidt's at bats are better. The results aren't where he wants them to be. Arenado's been hot. He had his on-base streak end at 25 games in a row. That's certainly encouraging. Brendan Donovan's looking more and more like himself, hitting the ball on the line, not trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark. I think those things help. The growth of Mason Wynn as an offensive player is something we can all be very excited about. Contreras, again, has been a very consistent hitter. Got to get Ciani some hits, but you know what? He controls the running game, and he is a great outfielder, and he can lay the ball down. He can bunt. He can move runners over, so he's making his contributions as well. There aren't as many outs in the lineup this week as there were 2 weeks ago, which I think is extremely helpful, obviously. But until this group collectively, 1 through 5 on the lineup card, really starts to flow, the offense is going to come in fits and starts. So we're seeing signs of that, I think, but they're not anywhere close to where we think they're going to be or should be, quite frankly.
And Chip, I'm one of those that has very high hopes for Herrera. I think he's going to be terrific, but in the last 2 weeks, he's gone from 294 to 200, and that isn't helping you offensively either. You had a stretch there where you could DH Contreras and have Herrera hitting behind the plate, and he just, for the last couple of weeks, has not been able to do that.
Yeah, he's on an 0 for, I think, 0 for 19, 0 for 20, something like that, and that's going to happen, right? That's sort of been the calling card of what's happened to the team, right? When Gorman's hot, Arenado's not. When Arenado's hot, Goldschmidt's not. I mean, it's like I said, there's not been a whole lot of flow there, and right now the Cardinals are carrying 3 catchers. I would assume that at some point that would change. If when Matt Carpenter comes back, that's one option. When Walker gets in, straightened out of AAA, he had an RBI hit yesterday, which is encouraging. Now you'll see some roster churn and some change there, but ultimately, this is what we've got. These are our guys. And the guys that are paid the big bucks have got to swing the big bats. They have at times, but haven't done it nearly consistently enough. But as I said, I think we're seeing signs that that's about to change.
So what's on the docket for you in Detroit?
Well, right now I'm sitting in a Starbucks disturbing everybody, and they're trying to have a nice quiet morning talking to you guys, which is great. I'm doing a little homework, getting caught up on the Tigers. I'll go for a nice leisurely hot girl walk and then get ready for the ball game and get on the bus at 2 o'clock.
Oh, the hot girl walks are back.
They're back.
Were they ever gone, Chip?
No, at times they were. Usually after it was a late night the night before, but last night we were disciplined, so Brad was already out. He got his hot girl walk in. Didn't invite me. I'm going to mention that on the broadcast today, but I'll go out on my own a little bit later on and then head to the ballpark at 2.
And by the way, as the Cardinals take on the Tigers, I'm always impressed by A.J. Hinch, and I know he was involved with the thing in Houston, but that doesn't take away from the fact that he's really good at developing a team. I think it was last year they got off to the horrible start, and then they were over 500 in May, June, July, August, and then fell off in September. But that's a manager and coaching staff whose team always seems to get better and better as the season goes along.
I think we're seeing a trend in baseball, Randy, and I think it's great. Look, it's a young guy's game now. The old guys like us, we're kind of heading into the dinosaur era of the way the game used to be, and it was so much better back then. Yeah, in some ways it was. But the guys like A.J. Hinch, Ollie, they are baseball people through and through, but they have a great ability to utilize the information that's available to them, to synthesize that, present it to the players, the audience, the fans, in a way that's non-threatening and is helpful. And I don't think guys get too bogged down by that with A.J., and I don't know him particularly well. But certainly with regards to Ollie, his use of information to make sound and rational decisions based upon who's available and not, I think is really, really impressive. It's hard to do in real time as fast as the game moves nowadays, and the fact that these young guys do it so well, I think, is really, really exciting and gives us great hope for the future of the game.
And I want to talk about the hope for the future of this particular Cardinal team. We had the question earlier. They've won 2 out of 3 now in back-to-back series. What's your belief level?
I feel really good about this team. Everybody is still haunted by the 91 loss last year, right? And understandably so. When you look at the strength of the schedule and you look at the fact that the Cardinals have not had their envisioned team together for one game yet this year, it would be very easy to say this is a team that could have been 6 or 7 games under 500, and that was everybody's fear. They haven't done that. They're 2 games under right now. They've got the Tigers. They've got the White Sox coming up. They have a great chance to be around 500 going into May. As every team starts to feel themselves out and figure out where they are. The Dodgers, for example, are only a couple of games over 500. If you cannot bury yourself in April, you give yourselves a chance. And if you pitch, you really give yourself a chance. And the Cardinals have done that. All that's missing right now is a little bit of offensive pop. And when that happens, I think we'll all really, really get excited about this team.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your time. Enjoy your coffee, and we will be tuned in tonight.
Okay, we'll see you guys soon. Go Gingers.
Thanks, Chip. That's our buddy Chip Caray. He is the voice of the Cardinals on Bally Sports. Coming up next year on 101 ESPN, we've got our Rush Hour Reset.
Hey guys, Mother's Day is quickly approaching, and look, I have the perfect gift idea for you. Here's how you win Mother's Day with a gift certificate to the Face and Body Spa and Salon. The Face and Body Spa Salon is a one-stop shop for all things self-care, making it the perfect gift for your mom, the wife, just the woman in your life to give back to her. They have 6 locations. I went by their Brentwood location the other day, and they really do have it all. I couldn't get over how huge the spa and salon was, and that's what you can do with the gift card there. She can just use it for whatever she wants. If she feels like getting her nails done, her hair, facial, massage, whatever she wants, she can decide. She can check out some of their amazing med spa packages as well. They have cool sculpting, hydrofacial, semaglutide injections, or laser hair removal. That's a new popular one right now. It's so simple to do. Just head to thefaceandbodyspa.com, and right at the top of the homepage, I have it pulled up right now, you'll be able to see where it says gift certificates, and you can't miss it. You can select any dollar range and complete your entire purchase right there on the website. If you have any questions, just call their amazing team at the Face and Body Spa and Salon at 314-725-8975. Check out everything online at thefaceandbodyspa.com for the best Mother's Day gift. That is thefaceandbodyspa.com.
Stories of the day on the opening drive with a Rush Hour Reset.
Driven by R&R Tires. Visit rnrtires.com to lock in your $20 tires deal.
It's 9:06 in St. Louis. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Major controversy in the studio today. First, we had the redhead controversy.
Oh, that's been a big controversy.
It has. And now we've got GIF versus GIF controversy. GIF is peanut butter. GIF is something that you send to somebody on their phone.
Well, so the text came in, and Rocc, you can read this because somebody was correcting your pronunciation of it.
Yeah, somebody said, hey, Rocc, a gentleman by the name of Steve Wilhite invented the GIF. He says it's pronounced GIF. That's straight from the creator. Look it up. And I had to inform him, listen, I don't need to look that up because I already knew it. And listen, that man is my enemy. I have had a personal vendetta against Steve Wilhite ever since I discovered this chicanery. In fact, you know what? It's self-importance is what he is. Mm-hmm. He invented this, and he wants to be seen as special. No one's ever going to remember. Who cares who made up graphic interchange format? So he's got to be known. So he goes, no, guys, you're pronouncing it wrong this entire time. It's supposed to be GIF, despite the fact that it's graphic interchange format. Don't play me. I know what you're doing, buddy. This is all about publicity. I'm not having it.
You're not buying it?
I'm not buying it. I'm not having it, and I will take him down.
And then you replied, and the person replied, LOL, love it. Rocc is salty this morning. And I replied, when is he not? That's
and see, now I honestly think this text is just trying to make me mad because 314 texts in as we're talking about this and says the dude who created GIF said it's GIF. Wait 60 seconds and then text. Just every time you're thinking about texting, just wait 60 seconds and then see what happens.
I always thought that Gerald Wilhite was a running back for the Broncos. Or is it Gerald Wilhite?
Is it Gerald Wilhite? That was a good one.
By the way, I love the energy from this texter 636 says, F that guy, it's GIF. I don't see a J. Thank you. Let's go.
Yep.
What's another example of something where we as a society decided, even though somebody said, no, it's pronounced this way, we decided as a society, no. We're going to tell you how to pronounce it.
Ooh, pronunciation's
I'm sure that we'll have texters texting in immediately.
Yeah.
Well, and then there's also player examples of it as well.
Oh, yeah.
Nolan Arenado.
Yep, Arenado versus Arenado.
No, don't you bring up that old one.
Barrios. What was the one last week?
Barrios.
Yeah, Peter Pages.
Pajes.
Yeah, Peter. So there used to be there used to be a catcher in the majors named Henry Blanco, a.k.a. Hank White.
This is so bad.
By the way, the Cardinals are in action tonight in Detroit. They open a 3-game series. Steven Matson goes against Kenta Maeda. Kenta Maeda.
I don't think you can do that.
Huh? What?
Is that a song that you used to do for him at one of his other previous stops, or are you pulling it from somewhere else?
No, what is that song?
It sounds...
One Kenta Maeda. So I saw a comedian one time. I don't remember the name of the song.
Okay. By the way, we're getting great texts in. So from the 618, spelling it Colonial, Colonel.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean...
Colonel.
Colonel.
Yeah, Colonel.
Yeah. Colonel.
Salmon.
Colonel.
Salmon or salmon?
Don't say salmon. Do you guys know anybody who says...
That sounds... It's salmon.
Do you guys know somebody who pronounces the H in herbs? Who says herbs?
No.
Now I got it. Herbs.
No.
I do it jokingly sometimes. Yeah. These are good. Okay, we're making progress.
We're rolling here.
Cardinals lost yesterday 4-2-11 to the Mets. 2-run game-winning homer by Mark Vientos after Harrison Bader had the game-tying hit in the bottom of the 11th off of Matthew Liberatore. UFL, the Battlehawks beat the Defenders 45-12. First loss ever for the Defenders in the UFL at home. And now the Battlehawks come home to take on those Houston Roughnecks.
You got to watch out for those.
Oh, man, that's a hated rivalry.
It is.
Hated rivalry.
Are you okay over there?
The idea of calling anything in the UFL a hated rivalry is
Well, who is there? Who would you say is their biggest rivalry? I would almost say the Defenders, but the only reason is because Jordan Teamu, former Battlehawk, then he switches sides.
Well,
yeah.
It's fun watching football. I mean, when Hakeem Butler mossed that dude down the left side and just kept on running. Like we were getting lunch, and I legitimately stood up I literally stood up at the bar and was clapping. I'm like, this doesn't I'm legitimately jumping up, and there were people at the place I was at, Felix's in Dogtown, who were cheering to when they were scoring touchdowns, and I was like, this feels good to be doing it on an April day. I'm watching football. I'm cheering for a St. Louis team. It was a lot of fun.
Go Battlehawks!
Damn right.
From the 3 and 4, I knew someone in high school that would pronounce the T in tsunami. So how would you do it?
Tsunami?
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 There's a person
Sounds
in my
like
life.
A Japanese player.
There's a person in my life who my entire life has hit part of the H in the W words, and it's always always bothered me. What?
Somebody just texted that in.
Oh, I got it. That throws me off so much.
Did you watch Family Guy? That's the first thing that comes to my mind.
Yeah,
whip.
Yeah.
Cool whip.
It's pretty great. Pretty fun. In the NHL last night, the Rangers eliminated the Washington Capitals. They win the series, obviously, by a 4-0 count with a victory last night by a score of 4-2 over the Caps. So TJ Oshie knocked out of the playoffs, and our old buddy Charlie Lindgren knocked out of the playoffs. He was the goaler for Washington this year. Avs up on the Jets 3-1 with a win last night. Canucks over the Predators in overtime 4-3, and the Canucks lead that series 3-1. Hashtag sad. Although your quarterback was the guy who was doing the pregame hype for the Predators.
Will
last
Levis,
night.
Mayo Boy. Yeah, he was with the catfish. That's a thing in Nashville. If you guys have not seen that yet, there was also a girl who chugged a beer out of the catfish.
Very impressive.
So this catfish was everywhere.
Yeah.
With the Predators.
Yeah.
So, would you do that?
No. I would not. No. And the Oilers beat the Kings 1-0, so the Oilers lead that series 3-1. NBA Knicks are on the verge of eliminating the Sixers. Knicks win a wild one 97-92. They're up 3-1. The Clips over the Mavs 116-111. That series even at 2 apiece. The Pacers have the Bucks on the verge of elimination with a 126-113 victory. Bucks didn't have Giannis or Lillard last night and hung with Indiana for a while. And the T-Wolves beat the Suns 122-116, and Minnesota advances, and Phoenix is done as dinner.
Things are not going well for them. Did you guys see the comments too from Joel Embiid about the Sixers fans?
Yes.
What were your thoughts on that?
I don't disagree with him, but that is the nature of sports these days.
Exactly.
When you have StubHub and you have a 2-hour drive from one site to the other, and it's a lot cheaper for Knicks fans to make the drive to Philly and go to a game than it is to go to a home game. Why not do it? That's what Blackhawks fans always did. It was cheaper for Blackhawks fans to buy tickets on Southwest, rent a car, buy Blues tickets, and go back than it was to get tickets at the United Center when the Blackhawks were in their Stanley Cup run.
I just think you should always avoid negative fan talk.
Yeah. If you're a player,
even if you are frustrated, just avoid it.
Yeah. Right.
Seems to be a good plan.
I know I have a friend who worked for the Packers, and 50% of the people on any given Sunday at Lambeau Field are purchasers from the secondary market, because Packer season ticket holders can recoup their entire season ticket expenditure by selling one game.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. So, and then just put them on StubHub and sell away. So, and I'm sure there's other places like that where you can make a lot of money just by putting them on StubHub. And there's a lot of people out there too, by the way, a lot of brokers who don't care about the team. They just buy a bunch of tickets before the season starts, and that's their business, is to sell tickets on the secondary market.
Can I say one thing I saw in the NBA playoffs with the Suns getting broken up like that? This is part of my take. Big Cat and PFT commenter over at Barstool, they threw out the possibility that they can't wait till after this year when KD rejoins the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I was like, I hate that I didn't think of that before, because that is literally the perfect situation. I would love that so much. It would be hilarious.
By the way, did you guys see during the broadcast when the players, they rallied around the local broadcaster rather than doing the TNT broadcast? I know that some people were reading into that a little bit too much, but I think that it was more just kind of like a tradition at this point for them.
They do it every game,
They do it every single game, and if it's working for you and you're winning, we know that athletes are very superstitious. They're going to continue to do that. It was just a very awkward moment, because she's like, where are we? What?
Unfortunate for her, but I like when people give the local media the first crack at it. I think that's a lost thing when you talk about how media works nowadays. But also part of that was that they had made a T-shirt with that reporter and the young players. And so they were kind of showcasing that T-shirt and talking about that's why everyone gathered around him the way they did and that like excitement so quickly and why they got pulled away was because of this T-shirt thing. So there were some extenuating
It's a
variables.
good luck thing for them at this point.
Did you read the story about Dawn Staley with local media? It's great. If you Google that, she even after they won the championship, she spent a half hour and she gave, I think, each local media person 2 questions, and they were lined up. They lined up to ask her a question, and she does it to take care of the local media, which is very cool.
That's very nice when they do that. I remember during the Blues Stanley Cup run, you were around, of course, for all of that. But remember when they were back here at home, then you kind of were shifted to the side. But Berube and the players always did a good job of prioritizing the local media first.
Yep. The best, and we'll try to get Isaac later on in the week. Isaac was the very best at that. He would always take care of the local media. And it was interesting because Marshall Falk always lit up for the national media when they would come in. He couldn't care less about us. But Isaac always made sure to take care of the local guys. So did Kurt. Can I give you my, I've told this Kurt Warner story before Super Bowl 36. So before the 2001 season, I go to Kurt during the offseason and I said, hey, Kurt, can we do a little pregame? I was part of the pregame show on the Big 550. I said, can we do a 5-minute pregame before every game? He said, yeah, let's just record it on Friday afternoon. And I said, cool. Before the opener, after training camp, and I had asked him right at the beginning of training camp, I'm in the scrum with Martz, and Kurt is just kind of standing off to the side, and I turn, and he just puts his finger up. I didn't even remind him. He remembered to do it. So we do it for the whole season. We get to the Super Bowl. He's got laryngitis. He does it before the Eagles in the NFC Championship game. The Saturday before the Super Bowl, the practice that was taped by the Patriots, there's 2 PR offices for the Rams at the Marriott in New Orleans, a downstairs one and upstairs one. I'm at the downstairs one, and I figured practice was going long, and so I'm just waiting in the downstairs one. And Rick Smith, the Rams PR guy, comes to the downstairs PR area and says, hey, are you looking for Kurt Warner? I said, yeah, I'm supposed to meet him here. I was supposed to meet him here a half hour ago. He's been waiting for you upstairs.
That's so cool.
Kurt waited, the MVP of the league, the day before the Super Bowl, waits a half hour so that he can do a 5-minute interview with me.
That is so nice.
Isn't that cool?
That is so nice.
So quintessential Kurt.
It is, 100%.
He's just the nicest guy in the world, and caring and cares about everybody. So that's one of my great memories of him, of many, obviously. All right, that is your Rush Hour Reset. Coming up, they said, what? On 101 ESPN. Thinking about selling your home? A lot of home sellers are realizing that a cash offer is the best solution for them. However, unlike a local investor or real estate agent that gives you one option, Gloria Lou, St. Louis real estate expert, is able to provide multiple cash offers. If you want to sell your home without having to make costly repairs and deal with strangers in your home, you need to get to know Gloria like I have. Gloria's name is her promise and really does say it all. She has solutions for every kind of home seller. If you want a fast sale with no hassles, well, Gloria's multiple cash offer program is a great option to consider. There are no showings, there are no costly repairs, and you pick the closing date, and you always get the highest cash offer to choose from in minutes from Gloria Lou. You can call her today at 314-325-6888. 314-325-6888, or simply visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. And if you want to put your house on the market and sell it for the best price and as quick as possible, it's Gloria Lou at GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
What you talking about?
What the hell are you talking about?
What you talking about?
Do you actually listen to yourself when you speak, or do you find you drift in and out?
What you talking about?
Bro, I'm out, man.
All right, time for, they said, what?
They said, what? Well, Randy, Sonny Gray's former team is doing pretty well. I don't know if you noticed that. They have a 7-game win streak going on. That is the Minnesota Twins. And they have a 7-game win streak going into their series against the very tough White Sox. So I'm sure that win streak will continue on. And there's many reasons for the recent success. But if you ask the players in the clubhouse, they will say it's because of this one thing. And what might that one thing be, Randy?
I'm thinking in Minnesota, it's got to be something like having to do with a lake.
Nope. It is because of their home run sausage. So here is Twins manager Rocco Baldelli trying to explain their lucky sausage.
It's a summer tangy sausage is what it is. I actually looked at the package yesterday. This it's bringing us a lot of hits and runs and stuff, so I'm all for it. I mean, for anyone that hasn't been following, it's a substantial packaged, sausage that Jeffers has been carrying around in his bag and throwing at people when we score runs and hit homers. So I'm all for it. I'm slightly concerned as I'm not even an adult, but slightly concerned as more of an adult than maybe some of the people in the other room, that the package is going to open up and the thing hasn't been refrigerated in many days, and there's no doubt that when that thing opens up, whoever's touching it is in deep trouble. That thing is there's no doubt in my mind that we are carrying around something that is very, very unhealthy to the human body.
So that's Rocco Baldelli trying to explain their lucky sausage. And it's not just any sausage, it's a summer sausage. So apparently the story goes behind the scene. He was kind of explaining there. Kyle Farmer accidentally left a prepackaged sausage on the table of the clubhouse. Rather than throwing it away, they decided to bring it into the dugout. And then they've had this recent run of success. And we talked about it earlier, how superstitious athletes are. So now you have seen the sausage and it is with them. So my question to you is, the Cardinals, they have just 18 home runs on the year, and that's tied with dead last with the Chicago White Sox. Do we get the Cardinals a sausage that they carry around, and we throw the sausage to them when they hit a home run?
I think somebody that's probably in the listening audience will get a homemade sausage delivered to the Cardinals, but knowing how much fun they are, somebody is bound to hide the sausage.
I agree with Rocco in the fact of this has to be some sort of biohazard.
Oh, no,
because have you
toxic.
seen it? They did a shot. They did a shot of it in the dugout, and you could see it, and it's sweating. Because you know when things are packaged like that, it starts to get that weird sweat. That thing is going to be gross when somebody does decide to open it.
It almost has to burst, doesn't it?
No, that would be so bad.
It's going to be so gross. Yeah.
So bad. So what could we get the Cardinals that could help them? Because last year they had the burger phone, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they got to come up with something.
Do they have
fun.
anything this year?
Nothing. The Newt's back, pepper grinder.
No.
Yeah, we need something. You're right.
You have to think of something new here.
So
they have the Fredbird hat, but that hasn't really helped them.
No, it really hasn't. So
it has to come organically
we
or
need
prepackaged in the way of the Twins.
Yeah.
Prepackaged. The jokes just write themselves.
I love Rocco Baldelli.
You have to go and watch his video.
He said package too many times.
You have to go back and watch the video because his face, just trying to explain this, it's what I imagine elementary school teachers looked like. Whenever they're trying to explain what they have to deal with kids every single day.
That's my favorite part is when he's like, I'm not even an adult, but I might be more of an adult than them.
Somebody said she missed your joke, Randy. No, I heard it. I heard it. But we're still early in the morning here.
Oh, so you are more adult than others in the room?
I'm trying to be. I'm trying really hard, but it's when you're talking about sausages, you never know where this conversation is going to go.
Okay. Randy, what else do we have?
Randy's turning red right now. All right, we also have, last but not least, Florida State wide receiver Keon Coleman was drafted by the Bills with the number 33 pick, and his introductory press conference went viral for all the right reasons.
Nah, man, you forgot I went to school in Michigan for 2 years? Guess where I got this from, though? That I'm saying you got to guess. You're going to be wrong, though, but guess.
What time is it?
Nah. Macy's. What you mean? They be on sale on the rack, all the colors. Look, $79, $89. Nice little deal. You can get the trench coat for like $100. Nice little. I'll take it up personally. I might go get some more colors. I need a blue one and another red one. See, I ain't know nothing about Thanksgiving. I shop like my mama. I get my coats in the summertime. You gotta shop a season or two before, just in case, and they be cheaper. Cause you go at Thanksgiving, everybody in Thanksgiving, you know what I'm saying?
He's wearing a yellow puffy coat, by the way.
He is. First of all, the whole press conference is hilarious. Love his personality. And that's what you want to see. We talk about that all the time. Love his personality, what he's talking about. And he's not wrong. He's not only a D1 athlete and now an NFL athlete, he's also a D1 shopper as well. Yeah. Because he knows the value and where it stands and what you have to do there. You get your coats during the summertime. Don't fall for the trends. Trends always go out of style, of course. Just get your stuff that you know is going to be practical and will last a long time. Get it during the summertime. Winter clothes, summertime. Makes a lot of sense.
Macy's. And by the way,
lots of good sales.
Yeah. Keon Coleman went to Michigan State so he could experience football in the cold weather. He's from the South. Mm-hmm. Went to Michigan State for a couple of years so he could experience cold weather to prepare for the NFL. And then to put up his numbers, went down to Florida State and became a first-round pick, or was he the first pick in the second round? Whatever he was. He was a high pick, and he's played the game perfectly. And now he's got that yellow coat, and he's going to get blue and red Bills colors.
Exactly. And he's going to make the money last. That's the biggest thing, making the money last. Because we see that story time and time again where a lot of young players spend their money before they have it.
Yeah. So that's cool. I'm glad that he said, what?
And you're waving to
I'm
somebody.
waving at our boss, John Kioski.
And that is, they said what?
He's my new favorite player.
I
love everything about Keon Coleman.
If you watch it, because when he first came into the press conference too, he noticed they had snacks out, and he was like, "Wait a minute, can I get some of those snacks?" And at first he said he wasn't going to have any, and then by the end of the press conference, he finds his way over to the snack table, and he's taking advantage of it.
I also just love it when people in other parts of America discover certain very niche, like American accents. Because then we didn't play it, but there was also Xavier Leggett, he's got that just the most Carolina drawl you've ever heard in your entire life. It was fantastic.
I knew exactly what he was saying too. I knew exactly what he was saying.
Why did you know exactly what he was saying?
Because he sounds like my Uncle John, Big John, on my mom's side of the family. I knew it sounded just like my uncle.
Does Uncle John have any kids?
He does, Lil John. So we have Big John and Little John, and they sound exactly like Xavier. And so I knew so when I saw that people were struggling to figure out what he was saying, I was like, I know exactly. It sounds crystal clear to me. What's wrong with you guys? You gotta get your ears checked.
Also, I feel bad because I'm pretty sure I've been calling every person from the South who's has that last name. I've been calling him Leggett the entire time. I had no idea that technically you're supposed to say it's supposed to be Leggett. That's what he was saying. He said you're supposed to. He says he goes like run with the E for a little bit.
There we
so
go.
So it's Leggett instead of Leggett.
Leggett.
Okay, good to know.
The more you know.
Yeah, we do now. So just
via radio.
Be careful with old sausages.
Stop.
Coming up, Mizzou's philosophy in the athletic department will change under Laird Veatch. That's next on 101 ESPN. Hey, the warm St. Louis summer heat is headed our way, and if you haven't scheduled your air conditioner maintenance yet, you need to with my friends at Hoffman Brothers. Just go to hoffmanbros.com or give them a call at 314-664-3011. When's the last time you changed your air filter? Well, a friendly reminder from Hoffman Brothers that now is the time to get that tune-up scheduled. Don't wait until your air conditioner stops working, because when it's 95 in St. Louis and your air conditioner isn't working, it's pretty hot in the house, and that is not a good thing. The maintenance on your air conditioner once a year is just as important as changing the oil on your vehicle. Call today or schedule online at hoffmanbros.com. The number again, 314-664-3011. Our friends at Hoffman Brothers, proud Mitsubishi Electric elite contractors, and right now they're hiring. If you're a plumber or an HVAC field professional and looking for a change, Hoffman Brothers is for you. Guaranteed pay in the market and 3 weeks paid vacation in your first year. Check it out online at Hoffman Bros, HOFFMANN, hoffmanbros.com.
This is Rocky with your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Cardinals looking to bounce back from an extra inning loss against the Mets yesterday, facing off against the Tigers as they start a 3-game series tonight. 5:40 first pitch. It'll be Steven Matz facing off against Kenta Maeda for that matchup. Over the weekend, the St. Louis Battlehawks got another big victory. This time it was over the DC Defenders 45-12. And early this morning, a St. Louis running back made a big deal to return to his old team. Ezekiel Elliott returning to the Dallas Cowboys after a weekend of a lot of question marks around the running back position for the Cowboys. That is your Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Missouri has a new athletic director, and they appear to be going all in on football. From Ben Fred at STL Today, football is the primary focus of this athletics department for the foreseeable future, as broadcast by the search committee and pinpointed by new AD Laird Veatch in his first few sentences. The Tigers are on a college football playoff mission. Everybody else, get on board or consider getting out. And if you're a big-time athletic department now, that's the way I believe that you have to look at it. And, Brooke, I think we've told this story before. Kevin Warren, who was the commissioner of the Big Ten, now is the president of the Chicago Bears, told me that when he negotiated TV deals for the Big Ten, 85% of the money was geared towards football. 15% was geared towards men's and women's basketball, and the other sports are basically non-revenue and don't show up on TV. But college sports should be about football, if you're smart, and then everything else falls in place behind the football program.
Especially if you're in the SEC, where it does just mean more, Randy. We discussed that at length. And this is a great idea. And also, it's what you should do. With Eli Drinkwitz, everything that he's building with the program. Now, with Eli Drinkwitz, the more that he does with Mizzou and their football program, of course, more schools are going to try to go after him. But you have this $250 million renovation that they're doing with the stadium. It's really going to upgrade it where it looks like a premier facility where you can play football there. I mean, those renderings look fantastic, Randy. And the money that is coming in, there's a lot of promise with the Mizzou football program, especially with Eli Drinkwitz. And I think that if you give him all of the resources possible and continue to put a lot into him, then he's going to want to stay at Mizzou longer.
I think so. And yes, Missouri doesn't have the pedigree that schools like Alabama and Texas have. But
Alabama's changing now.
Right. Alabama just got a new coach. Texas has a coach that they love, and they just gave Sarkisian the big money. Michigan has a new coach. I don't know if that would be an Eli spot anywhere. I think the one real threat is Arkansas, because apparently Johnny, is it Tyson? The Tyson guy.
Tyson, yes.
He is really interested in Eli. But most of the schools that are historically great already have young coaches in place. And I think the other thing that we need to keep in mind is that Eli's getting paid at Missouri now. And it's going to take a lot to get him away from Missouri. It's one thing to be paid, but it's another thing to basically be in charge of a school. And Eli, I would argue, is the most powerful individual at that school right now.
100%. We talked about it before. He is the face of Mizzou athletics currently. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and really the whole university, right?
Yes.
I mean, all due respect to President Choi, but if you put a picture of Eli Drinkwitz on TV right next to a picture of President Choi, people are in the state are going to say, oh, Eli Drinkwitz, who's that guy? To the other guy.
They'll say, who's that?
Yeah.
Exactly. But he is the face of Mizzou athletics and the university currently right now. And you just continue to let him build. He is exactly what every single college is looking for in a head coach, whether that's football, basketball, or anything, because he has embraced NIL. They've been very innovative with it. He's also embraced the transfer portal. And he's also starting to speak out more about some changes that he would like to see. And he has more of a voice because you have the wins to back it up. And now with the 12-team playoff format, he is going to be able to take advantage of that with all the returners that they have. I know, of course, they lost some on the defensive side, but still, with all the returners they have, this is a team that continues to build and build behind Eli Drinkwitz, and he's at the helm of it.
And as those items that you referenced evolve, how many coaches in America have a former football player in the program that's in the state legislature and can introduce bills and change laws to benefit the football program?
Exactly. And money is going to continue to pour in. Basically at this point, and that's why it took them a little bit, I believe, to hire an athletic director, because at this point it's just about bringing in more money. That's all it is. It's just kind of staying out of the way, bring in more money to the university as they continue to build around the football program.
And let us not dismiss a name that you've read a lot in regards to Mizzou football lately, and that's Bob Blitz, who was on the governor's task force to try to keep the Rams here. He was the biggest part of the lawsuit against the National Football League. But he is focused now on being on the Board of Trustees, the president of the board. Well, I think he's number 2 on the Board of Trustees. But he's a powerful person at Mizzou and has access to people with money and has money. Thank you, Los Angeles Rams. And he can make a huge difference financially for the program. And his vision is the vision of, let's put it this way, Laird Veatch's vision is the vision of Bob Blitz. Laird Veatch is in place because of Bob Blitz.
Exactly. And I'm excited to see what they do. Another point that I didn't even bring up about Eli Drinkwitz is the recruiting that he's able to do. One, recruiting locally here in St. Louis, which was a big thing that they wanted to do, especially after the Barry Odom era. He kind of lost track of some of the local athletes here in St. Louis. Eli Drinkwitz, he's here in St. Louis a lot recruiting, and he's making sure he's keeping the in-state guys in-state. And how competitive he is recruiting-wise. It is nonstop. And I understand he's getting paid a lot of money to do that, but at the same time, this is what I'm saying about he's exactly what every single college is wanting right now for their head coaches, because it's not fun. College football has changed a lot, and yes, they're making a lot of money, but now you're having to balance all of those things, recruiting, developing these young players, because it's one thing to recruit them, but you have to develop them, and you have to handle NIL, you have to handle the transfer portal, and he's been able to navigate all of those so far.
Do you think if Missouri was going to lose Eli Drinkwitz quickly, and granted, he's had one great season. He had 3 500 seasons, and then he had one really good season. But might this have been the season to lose him with Alabama opening up, with Washington opening up, with Michigan opening? It seems like there were so many good programs that had the opportunity to come and steal him away, and his name never even came up for those openings.
100%. I bet Arkansas is kicking themselves that they didn't hire him.
A&M is another one.
Yeah.
Right? With Jimbo Fisher. And Arkansas, to me, that's a scary one because Pittman was on the hot seat. There's no doubt about it. And they've kept him around. But I would think now the boosters know they can have the influence that they do in getting Calipari, that they'll probably want, if Eli has another big year, and he's from Arkansas, I would think that will be their number 1 target.
Here's the thing, though, is that he's building something at Mizzou. I do understand because they have a lot of money at play, but you're starting to see a lot more revenue pour into Mizzou as well. Now, I know that they have Tyson. I know that, and I want to bring this up because Walmart is involved with Mizzou, and they're involved with Arkansas as well because the headquarters are based in Bentonville, Arkansas. There's a lot of people. Jerry Jones also funds a lot with their football program. So I understand money is a factor, but with Eli Drinkwitz, don't you look at it as this is the place that gave me a chance in the SEC, and they're continuing to do everything I ask and bringing in revenue. They're giving him a new stadium. They're literally making sure, and that's what we said during the athletic director search, you have to make sure that Eli Drinkwitz is at the forefront of all these decisions.
100%. And let's throw in this, too, because Eli talked about taking the job. Now, was he going to take the job anyway? Probably. But he thinks one of the reasons that this job is really good is because of the access to the 2 major markets in St. Louis and Kansas City on either side of the state. Arkansas doesn't produce nearly as many good football players as the state of Missouri does. And that's an advantage to him. When you can go out and get the defensive end from KC, then Minwari.
Oh, yes.
And then and get a Luther Burden from this side. Get a Brady Cook from this side of the state. Last year they had 5 of their offensive starters from St. Louis. When you can get that much talent from your own state and kids want to come there, it makes a big difference.
And that they stay.
Yep.
That's another big thing. With Luther Burden, we know how talented he is. He's staying, and he's also a big part behind the scenes of recruiting local athletes. He does a lot on his part of really just recruiting himself and making sure that area athletes go to Mizzou.
Yeah, so Eli is doing a great job, and it's smart for Mizzou to go, as Ben Fred wrote, football, football, football. That's the way the best athletic programs are going. All due respect to Dennis Gates, but take your seat behind the football program because that's how college football go.
It is. But he's still working on things. He's able to get something. Hopefully, the transfer portal will work out better this time.
I hope it will. That's Brooke. I'm Randy. Coming up, we've got Rocc Roll, and we've got some tickets to give away, I believe. We are going to give those away coming up next on 101 ESPN. Hey, if you need new gutters, and you'll know with all the rain that we're getting right now, if your gutters are having water overflow in the middle of them, it means you need new gutters, and you need to go to gutterpros.com. They have served St. Louis for a long time. They're A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, and they do a fantastic job with seamless gutters for your home or for your commercial building. They can do even larger gutters, 8, 9, and 10-inch industrial-size box gutters if you have a big old warehouse-style building, regardless of the profile. And they do leaf protection for all the gutters that they do, and they'll do a lot of soffit and fascia work around the area as well. They cover an area about 50 miles away from their downtown office, a circle around that office with a really professional staff, great salespeople that care about St. Louis and care about you. They'll come out, provide you a great free estimate that is low pressure. They're going to tell you what it's going to be, how much it's going to cost, and then they'll let you make their decision, make your decision. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau. They want you to check out their website, gutterpros.com, where water goes where they tell it to go at gutterpros.com.
I want to rock. You know, and roll.
Let's rock. Let's rock today.
All right, question for the room. You guys think I'm a fake laugher?
No. Do you think I'm a fake laugher?
I don't think you are. I think your laughter is authentic and fun.
I think so too, but this texter doesn't think that it is.
Tired of
they
all
don't like our laughing, Randy.
Actually, the line was, it was drunk, all the fake laughing. Please, it's so damn annoying. So is that person drunk and hearing us laughing drunk, or do they think that we're drunk and fake laughing?
Maybe they're wanting to dump the laughing. Is that what it is?
No, I think he's drunk and he's a little irritable.
Oh, that could happen. Some people are that way. Hey, we've got tickets for you.
We should just do all serious radio from here on out.
Yes.
No. I refuse. No, I refuse.
One time Ken Wilson got mad because somebody said that he was talking too much and he was having too much fun. And so he was, I think the game was in Chicago, and he's doing a Cardinal game. Batter swings bat, ball to left field, drops on grass, runner safe at first. Did like 5 or 6 innings that way, just to be, I
appreciate how belligerent Ken Wilson was.
Yeah.
Is that he wasn't taking anybody's BS at any point.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't want me? Fine. I'll move to Hawaii.
Yeah.
I win.
He did for a while. Yeah. He ran for governor.
Yes, he did.
Hey, 101 ESPN is your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to next Tuesday night's Budweiser Bash game for the Cardinals and the Mets. It's the next Bud Bash game of the 2024 season, and it includes a limited edition Tony Womack bobblehead. You can get all the details on this season's series of Budweiser Bash Cardinals games now at cardinals.com/promotions. Text in now to 314-399-9646, 314-399-YO-HO to win Budweiser Bash tickets for the Cardinals and Mets on May 7th. And let's do texter number 41.
All right, tomorrow it will be a Tony Womack themed question, but today it will not be.
Oh, it won't?
So this is going to be tricky. I'm not going to ask you. This is going to be a who. This is going to be a when, which is which season was the last time a Cardinal hit 40 home runs? Which season was the last time a Cardinal hit 40 home runs? I'm not asking you which Cardinal it was because you can probably guess that one pretty easily. But when was the last time a Cardinal hit 40 home runs?
Okay.
It's a good one.
So, give us the year, and texter number 41 will receive that Bud Bash 4-pack. Played with Tony Womack at Brian Jordan's golf tournament in Atlanta last fall, and we won. Tony Womack is a really good golfer.
That's not shocking to me at all.
Yeah.
I was like, Tony Womack's going to be incredible at golf, isn't he?
Yeah, he was and a really fun guy.
Randy, did you also...
we got to get him on the show.
Did you also want to address another one of the texters in here?
Yeah, give me the text and I'll respond.
I believe it was...
It's kind of like an Ask Uncle Randy day.
Here we go. There's no loyalty in sports.
Oh, that's the same guy.
That's the same person.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
So, hello. What about Tony Gwynn? When I said, why don't you ever become a Cardinal? He said, man, I'm a Padre. Tony Gwynn was very loyal to his team, I thought. I thought Adam Wainwright was exceptionally loyal to the St. Louis Cardinals in staying here for his entire career.
Maybe they're talking about college athletics and how much it's changed now with the transfer portal.
Oh,
and even coaches leave all the time.
But Luther Burden's been very loyal to the University of Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
He has. So I would say that there's some loyalty left in sports. But you know what? Here's the thing about college. Forever, college coaches have been running players off. The scholarship has always been a year-to-year proposition. And players just don't, they do disappear, but the reason they disappear is because they've been run off by the coach who determined that they couldn't play. There's never been loyalty towards the player in sports, and sure, the coaches have never shown any loyalty either, not never, but it's supposed to be, it should be a two-way street, and it hasn't been.
It hasn't, and that's what you're seeing now. Now, sometimes has it gotten a little bit out of hand? Yes, of course. I'm not disagreeing with that, but at the same time, isn't that part of being an adult? You're an adult now. When you're 18, you're legally an adult, so you have to live with the consequences of your own decisions, just like everybody else. So that's part of it where I'm fine with the transfer portal because you make your own decisions, you live with the consequences of it.
And the consequences could include not having an athletic scholarship anymore.
Exactly.
Right? 3,000 people go into the portal and 1,000 of them don't get picked up. So you have to think about that before you go into the transfer portal as well.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of college athletics, I saw a lot of Mizzou people very angry at just like the NFL for not drafting Cody Schrader in the draft, and I just thought it was really weird, and something perfectly crystallized popped up. I was having a discussion with somebody while I was watching the Battlehawks game, like why this is a really dumb overreaction by Mizzou fans. And as that happens, Rose, the linebacker for the Battlehawks, picks off like their third interception of the game, and they're interviewing him, and it pops up and it says Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. Mm-hmm. And the person I'm sitting with goes, wait, why is a Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year playing in the XFL? I go, this is exactly the Cody Schrader conversation all over again.
Not quite.
Maybe not quite, but I'm just saying.
How much defense did they play in the Big 12?
That's really fair. Okay, fine. That's a really good point. But nonetheless, Michael Sam, take away the other stuff, he was not an NFL-level athlete. Right. He didn't have the lateral movement, and that was a co-SEC Defensive Player of the Year. Sometimes you're not that level of athlete. I'm not saying Cody Schrader isn't. I'm just saying that you shouldn't be surprised when certain really good college athletes go undrafted. That happens every single year.
And it was just really 1 year of Cody Schrader. I know that he was, and that's the other part of this, is that it was, last year was a breakout year for him. Now, I know that he was a factor a little bit prior to that, but last year is when he really burst into the scene.
And let's add this about Cody Schrader as well. Aren't you happier that he got to choose his spot than being drafted by the Jets as Mr. Irrelevant?
Yes.
Yes.
I would much rather go to a place where I'm comfortable with the coaches, and I get to pick the spot where I feel like I have the best chance to make the team.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not a completely like null chance that he signed as big or a bigger bonus than Mr. Relevant got. I mean, that happens all the time with undrafted free agents.
Don't be mad. It's not a bad thing. There's a lot of when the Rams won the Super Bowl in 1999, I think was it a third of their starters were undrafted free agents. So it's a good thing to be able to go to a team and find a spot for yourself.
It's just a great system he goes to. Here's the thing. Christian McCaffrey might have played all of last year and no one got to touch the ball. Elijah Mitchell was supposed to be a really good handcuff, and then he got like 4 carries the whole season. There's no way Christian McCaffrey has another season where he plays 17 games again, right?
No,
I feel like he just had one. He's lined up for like 2 years of like 30 games total, maybe. And so maybe Schrader gets in there a little bit.
And they did draft a running back. The 49ers did as well. But Schrader he'll get a legit chance from John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan.
And I know we're happy for our boy Zeke, but also Nate Pete signed an undrafted free agency contract with the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, cool. Good.
So,
well, he'll be their starter.
There you go. I think it might be Zeke and Deuce Vaughn, but hey.
You never know.
Isn't Deuce Vaughn like 4'6" or something?
He's Darren Sproles.
Yes, a little. I think they refer to them as little people now.
Diminutive, Randy, please.
Yeah.
Randy.
He's a little person.
No, he's
a
not.
little fella?
But at least his dad got to call him and tell him he'd been drafted.
Aw.
Hey, little fella, you just got drafted
Randy.
by the Cowboys.
Okay. All right. This is the part where you say this is a great show today.
really
We
makes
laughed
it
a little
sound
bit
like-
too much today, apparently.
Yeah, that's what they
According to
say.
that one texter.
That's horrible.
What?
It sounded like he was drafting his 7-year-old son. Hey, little guy.
That's basically.
No. Rocc, don't encourage
Yeah, that was
this.
my
We do
fault,
have
sorry.
a balloon party with T-Mac and Ajax coming up. I walked by the balloon party this morning and there was nobody in the studio. Is it? I don't know why.
The morning show?
Yeah.
Down there?
Yeah.
Are you talking about
they,
TMA?
They start at 7:07.
Oh, well, there you go. That's the reason. Okay,
They even make
now we
T-shirts that
understand.
say 7:07. That's when they start their show.
Okay, sounds good. We have a balloon party coming up, and then we've got BK and Ferrario from 11 to 2, and then from 2 to 6, it's the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN. We thank you for tuning in, texting in, and being a part of the show. And for all of us, until tomorrow morning at 7, have a great Monday, St. Louis.
That's right.
Hey guys, how you feeling on this Monday morning? If you aren't feeling great, if you woke up and you're fatigued already from the weekend, then you should check out Mentality. They've got great clinics in both Chesterfield and South County. And if you go to lowtusa.com, you can find out what low T does to you and what Mentality can do for you. I can tell you what low T does for you. It takes away energy. It takes away motivation, and it